NCAA college football from Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama, Southern California, and Alabama. Today, you'll see two great running backs. In Charlie White of Southern California, Tony Nathan of Alabama. And this ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by the folks at Chevrolet, who invite you to come on into your Chevy dealers coast to coast for a look at an all-star lineup of cars. By Light Beer, everything you always wanted in a beer, and less. And by Napa, a leader in automotive products for over 50 years. That's N-A-P-A, Napa. We help keep America moving. When Alabama played Nebraska here at Legion Field in Birmingham, September 2nd, the largest football crowd ever to see a game in this state was on hand. Today, it's going to be a new record crowd as the Southern California Trojans, ranked 7th in the nation, come in and challenge the top-ranked Crimson Tide of Bear Bryant. Both teams are undefeated this season, with USC having defeated Texas Tech and Oregon. The Trojans are ranked 7th in the nation. Alabama with 2 wins over Big 8 teams, Nebraska and Missouri, and the Tide tops all of the polls and owns the nation's longest winning streak at 12 games. And hello again, everybody. I'm Keith Jackson. You know, it is remarkable the similarities that exist between the game we're about to see today between Southern California and Alabama and the game we saw and brought to you a year ago from the Coliseum in Los Angeles. Just a year ago, in the month of October, giving a few days away, USC had a 15-game win streak. They were ranked first in the nation. Alabama came into Los Angeles ranked 7th in the nation and won a thriller 21-20. Today, just flip it over, and that's what you've got with Alabama's win streak at 12 games. The weather is going to be very important here today because the temperature is right at 85 degrees. It is very humid, up around 75%. They're playing on artificial turf, which means the playing surface is going to be in the neighborhood of 100 degrees. Now, when Nebraska played here, they did not bring any fans nor air conditioners. The Southern California people saw that, so they came armed with their own air conditioners and fans, had them shipped out here. Southern California, as most of you know, I am sure, is a relatively hot and dry climate, semi-arid this time of the year in particular. They've had a hot Santana wind blowing, but the humidity out there is in the 20% range. Contrast that with 70-75% here in Birmingham, and it can have quite an impact on your football team. It is my opinion that football games are almost always won and lost along the trenches. And today we've got some matchups along the lines from both teams that should be memorable. But it's the offense that gets all the news and all of the noise. So let's have a look at 4 young men that'll be very obvious this afternoon. First, there is the quarterback for the University of Southern California. New to most of you, his name is Paul McDonald. He's a left-hander out of Covina. 16 of 25 passes, 1 interception. He is not much of a runner. And today he's going to be throwing against what I think is one of the best defensive secondaries in the country. So young Paul McDonald is sure to be tested before this day is done. The tailback is the glamour position at Southern California, has been for many years. And the young man who works there today, number 12, Charles White, if he stays free of injury this year, could become the all-time rusher for Southern California, passing Anthony Davis. Very impressive fellow, but Alabama held him to 63 yards a year ago on 15 carries. For Alabama, they have one of the outstanding senior quarterbacks in the country in Jeff Rutledge, number 11. He's steady, he is smart. He threw 100 consecutive passes before Missouri finally picked one off last week. 100 passes without an interception. That's remarkable, and it's an Alabama record. Oftentimes, you'll see Rutledge, too, turn the ball up the field when it does the most good for his side. He is courageous, he is not afraid, and he is a very good quarterback. Number 22, the running back, Tony Nathan, is the bread and butter man for Alabama. His per carry average, as you can see there, is most impressive at better than 6 yards. And when it's tough, it is usually Tony, and particularly when they are down in that 4-down country inside the 15-yard line. He is also a very efficient blocker. So those are 4 young men who will be very obvious when the offensive teams are on the field today for Southern California and for Alabama. Joining us today as our analyst and commentator, Ara Parsegian. And Ara, I know that you're a bit depressed by what happened up in South Bend this afternoon, but I guess the Michigan Wolverines are certainly for real again.
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
No, it was a great performance on the part of Michigan, and of course I'm disappointed that the Irish lost, but it was a great football game.
Turning to this game very quickly now, and I think 1977, oftentimes you can't go back a year and say, let's draw some parallels and make some comparisons and rate the two teams, but I think in this particular case, since both teams have so many returning people, that the 1977 game has some meaning.
Very true, Keith. You've already pointed out the number of similarities, and we're going to watch. The fans should watch this afternoon two major things. I did this game a year ago with you, and the Trojans had difficulty in stopping the outside option. It'll be interesting to see early whether or not they've adjusted their defenses to take care of that. If they cannot contain the Alabama outside game, it'll be a long afternoon. On the other side of the coin, USC had difficulty running the ball and went to the air out of necessity when they fell behind, and Alabama had difficulty containing their passing game. We'll look to see early whether or not Alabama has made adjustments in their defensive secondary to take care of that passing game. One matchup that I think the fans should be watching in this game is Rich Dimmler, number 92 for the Trojans at the nose man, and Dwight Stevenson, the offensive center of the Alabama Crimson Tide. He has whipped everybody up to this point, and I think it's going to be another classic battle between those two.
You can hear from the roar of the crowd, and the crowd has to be upwards of 80,000 people at Legion Field in Birmingham as the red shirts come out of the tunnel. This is a football crazy city, and I guess the most precious document in the country had to be tickets for either this game or for the Michigan-Notre Dame game. But let's talk for a moment about this young left-handed quarterback for Southern California.
Well, I was impressed with him a year ago as I watched him warm up. He's got a quick delivery. He does not have the quick feet, although he went out for track. They improved his speed from 5 flat down to 4.8. That's pretty significant. Teaching him how to use his feet, running the classic style that a trackman would. That has improved him. But I think significantly, John Robinson has said that McDonald does have the ability, even though he cannot scramble, to keep his eye on the receivers downfield rather than to look at the rush. If he finds open receivers, as a result of that, he can offset his inability to scramble or move quickly.
The Trojans making their appearance, and as the Trojans come out of their side of the field from the tunnel, the rest of the Alabama team comes on. So initially you had the boos, then you had the cheers for the red colors of Alabama. That's a quick look at the two teams, and we'll be showing you this afternoon. The Crimson Tide, top ranked in the nation. Southern California, ranked 7th in the nation. Both teams are undefeated, and we're ready to go.
This is General Electric Performance Television, a revolutionary new set from the same people who brought you the first home television receiver and the first receiver to use the Emmy-winning VIR color signal. This is the widescreen 1000 with a picture 3 times bigger than a 25-inch diagonal set. Come see why, no matter what size picture you want. You'll want GE Performance TV.
You sure didn't spend any time getting dressed.
Linda, tell him I'll be there in a minute.
Maybe he'd look better in Hager slacks. Or Hager sport coat and slacks. He could even afford a Hager vested suit. And that's a look I can't afford to pass up.
Oh,
Hi.
Susan?
Close enough. For me?
Hager, because looking good makes you feel good.
Ready or not, here I come.
Introducing a new way to take your pulse. Berlinetta, the sophisticated new Camaro from Chevrolet. The new Camaro Berlinetta is smooth, responsive, elegant, comfortable. With a supple new suspension system that is unique to the Berlinetta. A ride quieter than Camaro's past. Berlinetta is a beautiful way to move you. Body and soul. The Camaro Berlinetta from Chevrolet. It's a new way to take your pulse.
Back here at Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama. Keith Jackson, Ara Parsegian, we're ready to go with today's football game as the respective captains from the two teams are gathered in the center of the field for the flip of the coin. Let's run off some of the scores for you now, as they have already occurred today, are some of the scores that may be leading to some major surprises. Oklahoma running away from Rice in a rout 52 zip. Oklahoma ranked 2nd in the nation this week. Arkansas having some trouble with the Aggies from Oklahoma State, 10-7, third quarter there. Michigan defeating Notre Dame at South Bend by a score of 28-14, second successive win for Bo Schembechler's Wolverines. Penn State had to come from behind late in the third quarter to take the lead from Southern Methodist 26-21. They're now playing in the fourth quarter. So the Ponies are giving the Nittany Lions all they want today. UCLA and Kansas, and there is the biggest shocker we've seen so far. with the Jayhawks, who have been relatively inept. They were just wiped out in Washington last week, but they're beating the tar out of UCLA. Pittsburgh was trailing Temple 6-3 halftime, but the Panthers have now pulled out to a 20-6 lead. We're going to see Pittsburgh next week against the North Carolina Tar Heels. Some portions of the country will see it as we present regional football. There is the series record. The lone win for Southern California came here in 1970 when Sam Cunningham led the Trojans as they routed Alabama by a score of 42-21. The Alabama 4 wins have all come in Los Angeles. And last year, it was a 21-20. The officials are Pistol Pete Williams, the referee. Henry Sidoris, the umpire, Dave Scott, the linesman, Jim Springer, the line judge, Stan Inbean, the back judge, and Bill Stanton is the field judge. The Alabama Crimson Tide won the toss. They will receive. It'll be Tony Nathan and either Major Ogilvie or Lou Eichner dropping back. It will be Eichner going back with Nathan. And Rob Kerr will kick off for Southern Cal. Number 22 is Nathan, and number 30 is Eichner for Alabama. A pair of seniors, and the ball is in the air. It is Nathan out of the end zone, 3 yards deep. He's got a wall. One man. Down he goes at the 42-yard line. Herb Ward stopped Nathan from going all the way. A 45-yard return. Have another look at it as Nathan almost broke it right out of the box.
From this vantage point, it looked like Nathan was gone. He gets great blocking, running to the right side, gets a crack right there, takes it with his acceleration, and one lone tackler. This is a great save, a good tackle saving a touchdown run.
Tide comes up. Ward, the man that stopped Nathan, from the 42. First down, Alabama. They're going to reverse it. It goes to Bolton. And Bruce Bolton does not get back to the line of scrimmage as the outside defender for Southern California stayed at home. Here is the starting unit for Alabama. Jeff Rutledge is the quarterback. Tony Nathan is one of the running backs. Major Ogilvie, another running back, big sophomore, and Steve Whitman starting at fullback. They're all from Birmingham, as you see. Bruce Bolton just carried the ball on the reverse. Is the split end. You will, however, see before too many minutes go by Billy Jackson at fullback, I'm sure. A loss back inside the 40. It'll be second down and about 12. That's Ogilvie in motion. Rutledge hands off. It goes to the fullback on a delay. He fumbles the ball. Alabama recovers it. Whitman turned it loose. And the ball skidded around, but it was covered. Buddy Adelette is at tackle. Mike Brock, number 70, is at a guard. Dwight Stevenson, the fellow we mentioned, is the big center. Vince Booth is the right side guard. Jim Bunch, a good one, at right tackle, and Rick Neal is the tight end. This Alabama team is not as deep as some of the teams we have seen in the past, but both squads must do a lot of substituting today in the interest of saving the athletes for late in the game, because it is 85 degrees and 70+% humidity. Nathan in motion. Rutledge will put it up on second down and 12. Goes over the middle with his pass is complete to Tony Nathan, who looped out of the backfield. He went right down the middle and he caught the bullet from Rutledge. That's a gain of 12, and it should be a first down or very close to it.
They're really opening up the offense by putting a lot of motion. Nathan comes in motion, just turns right over the middle. You see his feet right there, wide open in the seam, and Rutledge delivers the ball.
The tackle by Dennis Smith, but Nathan is a very steady performer. He wrapped it up and he got his first down. The football is at the Southern California 48-yard line. The Trojans have Myron Lapka, Rich Demler, and Ty Sperling as the 3 down linemen. Larry McGrew, Dennis Johnson, Chip Banks, and Eric Scoggins are the linebackers. McGrew and Scoggins will go to the outside to play what amounts to defensive end, with Hartwig, Lavender, Smith, and Crawford in the defensive secondary. First and 10, Alabama, Trojan 48. Second man through gets the ball. That's Tony Nathan, wedges down to about the 45 for 3 yards as Scoggins and Johnson gang up on him and bring him down. Alabama is working into a light breeze blowing against them, into their face, but this old Legion Field, going back so many years ago when I was a lad and used to watch the Birmingham Barons play baseball here, has been steadily enlarged until it is now a full bowl and full of folks. Second down and 7. They break the bone, give it to the up man, the fullback, and Whitman goes to about the 41-yard line before he is pinned there again by Eric Scoggins, a sophomore out of Inglewood, California, number 81.
One of the traits of Barrett Bryant is early in the ball game, to cause confusion to the defense, is to give them a lot of different looks, a lot of different formations, still running their same basic plays, and certainly this game is starting out the same way.
Bruce Bolton has come in at a split end. Keith Pugh has gone out now. So Bolton carried on the first play of the ball game with a wide receiver reverse. That didn't work. He's back in now and split well out of the picture to the open side of the field, and there's a penalty flag, maybe too much time. It is. They're a little tighter this year in enforcing the amount of time between plays.
Sure didn't seem like it. Looked like everything was moving along at a normal pace. But I guess that buzzer must have gone off.
Is it the back judge or
yes,
carries the watch with the buzzer, and when it rings, he toots his horn. So that's 5. Back them up to the 47-yard line. Make it 3rd down and 8. Sendogle in motion, same alignment. Rutledge rolls left, has time and delivers on the money. The pass is complete. The gain is down to about the 41-yard line as Willie Crawford, number 30, came across to make the tackle for Southern California, and number 22, Tony Nathan, made the reception. Now, in the game we saw against Nebraska, Tony was not a pass receiver. Today, changing things, as Ara said, Bear sends Nathan out of the backfield. He makes one key catch, comes up with another one, but it is still short because of the penalty of the first down. And so Woody Humphrey is in to do the kicking, and Raymond Butler is deep for Southern California. He's a left footer. Pops it up in the air.
Shanked it, I think.
He cold dead shanked it out of bounds. Southern California will get very good field position. They're going to mark the ball up near the 30. So let's have a look at the Southern California starting backfield men. There is young Paul McDonald out of Covina, California. Charles White from San Fernando. Lynn Kane is the up fullback, or the up man out of the eye. Kevin Williams is the flanker. He can fly, and so can Calvin Sweeney. These will be 2 of the fastest wide receivers that you're going to find almost anywhere in America this season. That was a 16-yard punt for Humphrey. He was obviously trying to knock the ball down in the corner, but he shanked it. Here come the Trojans. They mark it out at the 25. There it is, 1st and 10 for Southern Cal. Kane and White are the setbacks behind McDonald. Now you've got double motion. Kevin Williams comes to the right, then goes back to the left. Alabama jumping around. McDonald's going to put it up on the first play of the ball game. Throws for Sweeney, overthrows him out of bounds. He was relatively well covered. It'd have to be a 10-point perfect pass, and he didn't quite get it to him. Anthony Munoz, a 270-pounder in there. Pat Howell coming off leg surgery. Chris Foote is the center. The other guard is Brad Buddy, a big junior out of Kansas City. Keith Van Horn, the strong tackle, and James Hunter with a very sore leg is opening at the tight end position. Trojans are very big up front. They're unbalanced to the right side. Sweeney is flanked to the left, the open side. 2nd down and 10 from the 25. Charlie White's first carry, and Charles finds room, and he is smacked out of bounds. But he's across the 30 to the 32. It was Ricky Tucker, the free safety, who came across to get him. He gained 7 yards. Defensively, Alabama offers Gary De Niro opening at the defensive end instead of Wayne Hamilton today. Marty Lyons playing on a cut foot. Curtis McGriff, Mike Sebastian, E.J. Jr. Linebackers are Ricky Gilliland and Barry Krause. Secondary, McNeil, Smith, Legg, and Tucker. 3rd down for USC. They need 3. White again. Student body right, comes to the 35, got the first down. McNeil brought him down. Good blocking, right side, Southern California offensive line. Bears concerned.
You're going to have to watch out White. You know, even at this stage, he's the 5th leading rusher in USC history, and that's pretty classy stuff when you talk about Simpson and Garrett and Davis and Bell. He's a great one.
Keith Van Horn comes out to tackle Jack Campbell, a big freshman, 6'6", 250 from Torrance, goes in. John Robinson's record at USC shown there. 36-yard line, 1st down Trojans. McDonald to White. Nothing fancy. Got maybe a yard. Barry Krause, 77, is very obvious there. E.J. Jr., 39, is also right there. Marty Lyons, the defensive tackle in Penn State, came from behind late in the ball game to beat SMU 26-21. Lions, coming off an emotional game last week at Columbus, had to reach inside themselves to find it today, but they came back.
That's pretty normal. When you come off of a big game like that, you generally have a little letdown, and they showed a lot of class in coming back and winning.
2nd down, 9, 37-yard line for the Trojans. Williams in motion. Turns it upfield. He throws it out there to Williams, and Kevin bounces it. Incomplete. He had Sweeney and Williams both going together, with Sweeney going down on the fly, but he threw short. There's a look at the fans and/or air conditioners, if you wish, that University of Southern California brought with them from Los Angeles.
See, they have all our defensive unit there taking advantage of it.
Well, they frankly admitted, having watched our telecast of the Alabama-Nebraska game, they saw and realized that it would be a wise thing to do.
They couldn't put them all on the plane. They had to fly them in cargo.
That's right. 3rd down and 9 now for the Trojans from their 37. McDonald back. Plenty of time. Over the middle. Good. Pass is caught by Calvin Sweeney, the senior out of Riverside, and it's a first down. USC, it's at the Alabama 49-yard line. That's a 15-yard pickup. Let's have a look at Sweeney.
He can really fly. He just comes right up the field and gets into the seam. But the important thing on this particular play was McDonald staying right in that pocket. Here's another angle of it. Watch McDonald. He gets good protection. He stays right in there, looks at his receiver, and delivers right on the mark.
Wayne Hamilton, who tormented USC a year ago, is in a defensive end now. The pitch to Charles White. Good blocking. And the flyer from San Fernando is all the way to the Alabama 31-yard line before Junior and Legg can bring him down. That's 17 yards for Charles. Alabama man on the field. Shaken up. Looks like it might be, well, I'm not going to guess. Wait and see till his number. It could be Wayne Hamilton, number 94. Charles White, 4 carries, 29 yards. No score in the ball game. Trojans are moving it. First down, Alabama 31.
You know, Fireman's Fund says, for the best insurance, look for our fire hat. But there's another symbol just as important. It belongs to the man who sells our insurance, the independent agent. Because he represents not just us, but many fine companies to get you the very best deal around. So even if you forget our symbol, remember this one of the man who serves you first, your independent agent. He's got the one symbol it pays you to know. In the yellow pages, Fireman's Fund Insurance Companies.
Secret of my success? Lots of my parts are better than your car's original parts. Know where I get them?
A beauty, isn't it? Were the parts hard to find? Let's say I had a good source.
Where do I get my parts? Who's got over 50 years in the business? Besides me. Who should you see for your auto parts needs? Napa. We help keep America moving.
Alabama defensive end Wayne Hamilton leaving the field in some pain. Here is what happened to him.
Looks like he's holding his hand, Keith, or wrist. Let's see if we can see it. Right here, number 94. He attempts to shed off the tight end. Keeps coming to the right. Looks like his hand got caught in the mask. It appeared that his right hand got caught in the mask.
It is first down, Southern California, 31-yard line of Alabama. Trojans were the first threat of the game. They've got Williams and Sweeney both wide left. McDonald rolls that way. Has time to throw. Throws to the short man, Sweeney. Sweeney's at the 20. He's at the 18. Down at the 17. That will be another first down as the Trojan short pass works for 14 yards. McDonald to Sweeney.
See, Sweeney here, number 24, he just hesitates right underneath, then comes back inside, and he's wide open. He faked an out pattern and came right back inside, and McDonald hit him.
McDonald with a lot of spin on the ball, a lot of rotation. Quick pass, but it's a soft pass. Looks like an elbow injury to Wayne Hamilton, as you can see. Possible hyperextension. Hurts. High formation, Trojans first down, 17 of Alabama. Up the middle goes Dwight Ford, who is healthier than he has been for the entire season. Has had a very deep bruise in his leg. He runs the ball down near the 11-yard line. So that's about 6 yards for him. Dan Garcia, number 26, is coming into flanker now. Ford is the fellow who was the big play guy last year for Southern California.
It's been an impressive drive thus far for the Trojans. They've moved the ball both on the ground and in the air.
10th play of this possession. The first possession of the game by USC. Second down, 4. McDonald to White. Charles White pops it all the way down inside the 5 to the 2. It's first down, goal to go Southern California. And USC's offensive front is carving a hole in Alabama's defense.
He's some kind of runner, I'll tell you, this Charles White. Gets good blocking, cuts back to the inside. He really has a good hole, but he really accelerates. And I think McDonald called an audible there. He saw a weak spot and picked it.
38 yards now for Charles White in 5 carries. Alabama's goal line defense with McGriff and Braggs both in the front. And Sweeney goes in motion. Trojans don't get fancy, but they fumble it. White never got the handle. Hit him on the knee, and Alabama recovers it. Corey Legg, number 19, came up with a football. So the Trojans very impressively marched downfield, first and goal to go at the 2 and cough it up.
Let's see if we can see what happens here. McDonald reverse pivots, comes back, and it appears to give the ball to White. Let's see here. Uh-oh, he never gets the ball. It went right on through. Those are the things that happens that make coaches gray.
First down, Alabama, 2-yard line. Nothing fancy. Ogilvy, the bigger of the backs, hits over the right side to about the 4 for 2 yards. Second down coming up. But I think you had a reasonable idea there of what Southern California will do until Alabama is forced into a stunting or stacking situation with their defense, as the offensive front for Southern Cal was acquiring real estate for Charles White.
Well, they've got an offensive line that's got all kinds of skill and talent. They just haven't gelled yet.
Keep it going. At the 4. Second and 8. Nathan to the 5. Ty Sperling, Rich Dimmler. Dimmler in the middle, number 92, working against Dwight Stevenson of Alabama, the center, at 57. And it's got to be a great matchup this afternoon before they're through. Dimmler at 255, a senior out of Bayonne, New Jersey. Stevenson, a junior out of Hampton, Virginia, at 230. Gets tremendous leverage coming off the snap of the ball. Third down, 6. Rutledge goes for it out of the end zone, gets it away, deep downfield, incomplete. The pass intended for Keith Pugh. Larry McGrew broke off the block and put the heat on Rutledge, but Jeff got it away just in time.
I think if Pugh had broken to the sideline down here at about 20 yards, he'd been wide open. But I guess it was a fly pattern, trying to hit the big bomb, which isn't a bad idea. I'll tell you, from your own end zone, you don't have a whole lot to lose. If they intercept it, it's like a punt.
Humphrey deep in his end zone. Raymond Butler right there going deep for Southern California. Trojans have to get good field position here. They handle the ball well. Humphrey's kick. Short. Fair catch is called. Willie Crawford takes a very short kick at the 40-yard line. That's only 34 yards on the punt. And so the Trojans are in business at the Alabama 40.
Let us show you the lengths Texaco sometimes has to drill to find more energy. This is New York's World Trade Center. Imagine drilling the length of 15 World Trade Centers. 15 World Trade Centers. That's almost 4 miles. Well, that's how deep Texaco has to drill. 4 miles down at $1 million a mile to find more energy for you here in America. Texaco, working to keep your trust.
You know, for too long now, bowlers have been left out of light beer commercials, and football players have been grabbing all the glory. But bowlers know light beer from Miller tastes great. We know light's got 1/3 less calories than the regular beer. We know light's less filling. Bowlers love light just as much as football players. That's right. And we also love the easy opening can.
You sure do. Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Our society benefits greatly from the hard work and dedication of athletic coaches who mold young people into good citizens through athletic participation. The National Federation of State High School Associations urges that all communities honor their coaches on National Coaches Day, October the 6th.
Here are the scores. Ohio State 21-3 over Minnesota at halftime. I understand that Woody started Gerald at quarterback. Maryland, North Carolina in a big one in the ACC, 21-20 Terps in the 4th quarter. First down here in Birmingham. Southern California, Charles White has it. Student body right. Look out, he's gone.
He's gone now.
He is gone. Touchdown, Charles White.
What a wonderful.
Nice block from Lynn Kane. Got a great starting block from Brad Buddy. The whole right side of the Trojan line opened the hole for him. He cut back against it. Two Alabama defenders ran together, and Charles was gone. 78 yards, 7 carries. We have 6:18 to play in the first quarter, and USC's on the board. Frank Jordan is in for the extra point try. Marty King, the punter, holds for the place kicker, Jordan. It's good. And so Southern California, with a burst from the 40-yard line by Charles White, takes the lead 7-0.
Put yourself in the position of a defensive secondary man here and try to corral Charles White. He gets beautiful blocking here. Brad Buddy sets a great block, and when he gets into that secondary, Charles White really moves. He cuts back against the grain, where number 49, Bobby Smith, is trying to keep him inside, but away he goes. What a runner.
Look back into the heavy traffic now. Watch Rich Wingo get taken out of here by Buddy's block that got Charles on the way.
Here's another angle. Wingo comes across. Buddy just knocks him right down. That's what makes long runs. Particularly when you got a guy like White with his hands on the ball.
Rob Kerr kicks off for Southern California. It goes deep into the end zone. Eichner has it. He will not return it. It'll be Alabama's ball, first down at the 20. Now, watch the tight end get taken out of here.
It's James Hunter comes out. Oh, he's just driving him right off the line of scrimmage and stays right with him. Now, I've got to tell you that is a picture block.
He took Knox right down to the grass, didn't he?
Oh, wow.
And Hunter's playing with a very sore leg. Billy Jackson's in at fullback for Alabama. SC leads 7-0. First quarter of play from the 20. The tide out of the wishbone. Rutledge outside to Nathan. And Tony's across the 25 to the 26. Remember on the opening kickoff, except for Herb Ward, Nathan would have gone all the way. So this, we may see some points put on the board before this one's done. Joe Yukita, Dartmouth getting a win today. Harvard and Columbia. Oh, look at that. Columbia's leading Harvard 21-19. Those are Ivy League scores. From the 27-yard line, second down and 3 for Alabama. Nathan, first down, Alabama. Out to the 32. Auburn beating Virginia Tech today, 18-7, second win in a row for the Plainsmen. Georgia beating Clemson 12-0. That goes into the upset category. Baylor bouncing back after a loss to Georgia last week to lead Kentucky 21-17. Georgia Tech beat Tulane today by 10. Florida State beat Miami by 10. First down, Alabama, 32-yard line. Rick Neal shifts out wide. Major Ogilvy. Good defensive pursuit by USC, 35-yard line. Gain of 3, Dennis Smith, first man to get there. Duke beating South Carolina today, 16-12. I have a gentleman who talks to me constantly from down below where all the decisions are made. He just put on his Blue Devil sweatshirt. Michigan State beating Syracuse. Iowa State leading Iowa. At the 35, second down and 7, Alabama. Into the stack goes Billy Jackson, the sophomore fullback from Phoenix City, and he gets about 3.
Alabama's just staying now with the classic wishbone plays, and they've had success with the outside option. Both times they attempted to run it, they had a lot of running room. So it's interesting to see whether or not the Trojans can come up with a defense to stop it.
Well, you see there, where USC was not able to run much against Alabama a year ago, they have opened most impressively here this afternoon, totaling 84 yards, the bulk of them from Charles White, and the touchdown from Charles. It is third down, Alabama, long 3. Rutledge to throw. Throws to the fullback. Billy Jackson had it right on his numbers and let it fritter away. Scoggins was looping in, putting the heat on the Alabama quarterback. He knocked Jeff Rutledge down, but in the middle, here is Stevenson in red for Alabama, snapping the ball. Rich Dembler, the middle guard for Southern California. There are 2 big horses really going at it.
It's Mike Brock giving Stevenson a little help on the block, but look at him stay right with him. He got some help with a run-action fake.
The punt by Humphrey on 4th down. Again, a poor kick by Woody Humphrey, and it takes a USC bounce. And it is down at the Trojan 34-yard line. So Humphrey now has punted 3 times and poorly 3 times. Came in with nearly a 44-yard average.
From the wheat fields out in Kansas to the city by the bay, along the Mississippi, all across the USA. You're looking at the one car more people buy today. This is it, America, new Chevrolet.
The new Chevrolet, a new generation car bought and embraced by more than 1 million people in its first 2 years. This year, see and drive the car America has driven to the top. The new Chevrolet Caprice and Impala for $1979.
From a desert north of Phoenix to the freeways of LA, from the seaports of New England up and down the USA. You're looking at the one car more people buy today. You're looking at a winner called new Chevrolet. You're looking at the one car more people buy today. This is it, America, new Chevrolet. This is it, America.
Next Saturday, the United States Gymnastics World Team Trials featuring America's best on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
3:56 to play first quarter. Humphrey, who came into the ball game just under 44-yard average. To give you some idea of the importance of this kicking game, he's at 25.7 average on 3 kicks, 16, 34, 27. Trojans working now from outside their own 34-yard line, first down. They lead 7-0. McDonald wants to put it up, throws it short. White coming out of the backfield, missed by 1. Then a whole lot of red shirts close in on him. He gets about 1 yard on the play, with Bobby Smith, number 49, among the first to get there. E.J. Jr. was looping around out there. Remember, in the Nebraska game, Jr. got in between the Nebraska quarterback and the deep man or the pitch man and intercepted it.
Picked it off. Alabama was in a good coverage that time. They were in what we call double zone, with both cornermen there in good position to stop the play.
Wayne Hamilton, who does have a hyperextended elbow, we won't see him anymore today, and he may be out for some time. It's a very painful injury. Double wide to the right side for Southern Cal. They stay inside, give the ball to the fullback, Lynn Kane, up across the 40 to the 41. Third down and about 3 coming up now for the Trojans.
Alabama deployed that time in anticipation of a pass, and the Trojans went ahead and ran the football.
John Robinson, USC coach, Bear Bryant of Alabama. Orion Charles White. 3 times as many yards as Alabama has totaled on the ground. 2 men moving now for SC. Now they're set and ready to go. Give the ball to Lynn Kane, the fullback. Powers for the first down. Didn't get it.
You know, that, Keith, the loss of Wayne Hamilton might hurt the Alabama Tide, because he played such a sensational game a year ago, and I don't think they're real deep at that particular spot. So as this game wears on, we'll see how much that loss is going to hurt the Tide.
They're about a half a yard short of the first down. Tony Nathan has gone deep now for Alabama to receive the kick from Marty King, who has had 1 kick return so far this year for a -2 yards.
Looks like they're coming after it. Here they go. They're coming after it.
They came hard. Ball gets away and trickles into the end zone as Tony Nathan was looking downfield at nothing but white shirts and said, "I'll let it go, thank you." 56 yards on the punt. Alabama came firing in a volley. Almost got the kicker, but they didn't get back down on the ground, and no flag was thrown.
You can see it. You could see it that they put 10 men up there, and they really came hard. We might see more of that later in the ball game.
Doxson Jr., the 2 ends that came to him from the outside. Next time they might put one of their cornerbacks, somebody who might be a little quicker, to send him. Stedman Shealy now is at quarterback. More of a runner than a thrower. Big, strong fellow, coming off leg injury. Gives the ball to Billy Jackson, and Jackson from the 20 to the 25. Next week, these are the games you'll see on our NCAA telecast. North Carolina at Pittsburgh, where we will be. Panthers winning today. You'll have a good one up there in the middle of the country, Nebraska, Indiana, Tennessee, Auburn down south, Washington, Oregon State on the west coast. Check your local listing. Lou Eichner, Billy Jackson, Stedman Shealy, Joe Jones, the backfield for Alabama. Bear has gone to a complete new backfield to keep fresh people in there. Shealy keeps it. Outside of Eichner, down the sideline. He can fly. And he is thrown out of bounds. Down around the Southern California, 40 by Tim Lavender, number 48.
That was a classic because the Trojans over-defense the wide side of the field here. I believe Stedman audibilized this, and he goes to the right to the short side, makes a great fake, comes down the line. When he's forced to pitch, he deals the ball off to Eichner. He's got the sideline with nobody home, and the touchdown is saved by, who was that?
Lavender.
That's Lavender, yeah.
So, here you see the value of a fellow like Stedman Shealy, who can really run that option out of the wishbone. At the 42, left guard of Alabama, or the tackle it was, Eddie McCombs makes a move. Missed the count. So that'll cost him. Michael Coleman, 25, is in at the wide receiver. Check along the line, many of the second unit in there. Lou Eichner breaking one for 36 and a first down. Tom Huffstetler is at center. Vince Powell is at right guard. Should have Rusty Faust over there at right tackle. First down and 15 as the ball is pitched back. And nothing there as Southern California swarms. Joe Jones, a sophomore out of Thomaston, Georgia. William Banks, a freshman linebacker from Augusta, Georgia, starting today for Southern California.
They changed up their coverage on the option and the pitch man, and it worked well for them. But it's interesting, on the previous play when Eichner went down the sideline, Dimmler was out of the ball game getting a little blow.
5-yard penalties can nag you to death. Second down and 13. Shealy keeps it. Sticks his head in there and gets it to about the 41 of Southern California. So they'll be looking at third down and 9.
Looks like his knee is all right now. Looks like, you know, he had knee surgery, I guess, and he's come off of that, and I guess he's got his quickness back now.
He played last week, took something like 12 snaps or so against Missouri. Ran 3 times. Very valuable. We wind down to the end of the first quarter. They'll stop it before the play is off, and USC leads after 1, 7-0.
When you take off on the Trans-International Airlines charter flight, you're taking off with us.
When you go to see a United Artists movie, you're going to the movies with us.
When you come to budget to rent a car, you're coming to us.
We're Transamerica, the people in the pyramid. We serve you through many different companies, but we stand for just one thing: first-rate service at a fair price. From every Transamerica company, every time.
Owens Corning would like to help you understand insulation R values. R stands for resistance to heat flow. It's the right way to measure insulating power, not thickness. Look, it takes about 18 feet of stone to give you an R value of R19, but only 15 inches of wood and 6 inches of this Owens Corning fiberglass insulation. So check for R value. The higher the R value, the greater the insulating power. Want to know about insulation? Ask Owens Corning.
With 30,000 helpful hardware men, it's a snap to shop at Ace. For national brands you like, Ace is the place.
By joining our buying power together, we can bring you low prices on lots of things, from paint to housewares to power tools and more. And at Ace, you get the helpful advice we're famous for. So come on in and make it snappy.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware man.
After one period of play, Southern California 7, Alabama nothing. And the Trojans have been pretty much in command of the football game. Fumbled it away one time on the Alabama 2, first and goal. But then White broke one from 40. It is third down and 9, Alabama from the SC 41. Shealy will throw. Throws to the sidelines. Bolton. He caught it. Marvelous catch by Bruce Bolton at the SC 19. He caught it over Willie Crawford. 22 yards on the play. Crawford got a hand on it. Bolton caught the ricochet.
That's terrific concentration by Bolton. Because I think Crawford got his hand on the ball and got a pretty good piece of it. He just comes down and out. Here's Crawford reaching out, deflects the ball, and Bolton still makes the catch. Great throw and great catch.
Here the 19, first down, Alabama. First serious threat of the ball game for the Tide. First unit offensive line is back in for the second unit backfield. Jackson. Billy Jackson to the 10-yard line. He got a great hold from Bunch, Booth, and Stevenson.
Well, that was a good job of blocking by Stevenson. Brock. Looked like they handled Dimmler that time. There you can see in the first quarter, 122 yards to 87. But it looks like the Tide's coming back.
SC7, Alabama threatening at the Southern California 10, second down, 1. Jones should have the first down at about the 8. Sperling, 63, 255, sophomore out of Wilmington, California, the stop. Pistol Pete Williams of Navy, the referee. Nathan is in. Ogilvy is in. Sheely stays at quarterback. Stephen Sheely, who has great running ability, has helped tremendously in exercising the option for Alabama. It was the option that beat Southern California last year. Sheely keeps. Down he goes at the line of scrimmage. Number 81, Eric Scoggins, linebacker, sophomore out of Inglewood, California, brought him down. I'll tell you something about this fellow Sheely, that he's a lot of folks on the Alabama football team do not necessarily consider him a second-string quarterback. He is a different kind of quarterback.
Right, he sure is, but I'll tell you, you got to give credit to Paul Bear Bryant. He'll go ahead and play the guys, and he'll play the second-string backfield and the second-string line, and they move the football.
Sheely now, second down and goal from the 9. Rides it off to Billy Jackson, and Jackson is down inside the 1-yard line. Just short. Do they signal touchdown? Yes, they call it touchdown.
Boy, that was good running by Billy Jackson. He made about 2 or 3 second efforts in there.
Well, it is not a touchdown.
No?
Hands were in the air in the traditional touchdown signal.
There it is. Watch Jackson. He gets good blocking in the front line. Looks like he's picked off right here. Then he gives it another thrust. Trips keeps his balance. And that is just a terrific piece of running, because that's hard yardage to get down in there. They went from about the 8-yard line to the inside the 1.
At the 1-yard line, third down for Alabama. I don't know why in the world the 3 officials out there had their hands up. I didn't think he got to the goal line. It didn't look like he penetrated the plane of the goal line. On ABC's NFL Monday Night Football. Coming up this Monday, the Minnesota Vikings and the Chicago Bears. The Vikings beginning to make their move, coming back. You'll see them at 9 Eastern time, and they go up against the Chicago Cubs, who are an old traditional foe in that black and blue division. So it'll be interesting to see how the Chicago Cubs, I said Chicago Bears, and the Minnesota Vikings get along. I guess there's a difference between a Cub and a Bear. They wear different
grows
suits.
up, huh?
13-13 to go in the first half.
It's quite a performance by Stedman Sheely on this drive. He really has looked good, and so has the entire Alabama offensive team. Mixed up the plays well and done a great job of execution.
Third and goal from the 1. Ogilvy didn't make it. The Trojans pinch him down, short of the goal line. It'll be 4th and goal to go.
Looked like he had a hole in there, and the Trojans filled it up before he could blink your eyes.
Ogilvy leaves. They tore the shirt off his back. Eichner comes to replace him.
Hurry in here and not get a 5-yard penalty.
Better hurry. Play for Alabama in this possession. 4th down, goal to go, 1-yard line. Nathan, no sir. Trojans hold them. Southern California stacking. Fights off Alabama at the goal line with Lapka, Johnson, Banks, Dimmler stacking it up. So time is out, 12:49 to go, and Southern California stops Alabama at the 1.
I've been thinking about the market lately.
Yeah. My broker says now's a good time to look into tax-free income. What'd your broker say?
Well, my broker's E.F. Hutton, and E.F. Hutton says...
When E.F. Hutton talks, people listen.
The Goodyear Tiempo is the all-year radial proved last year. A year of record snowfalls and ice storms, record rains and heat, some of the worst weather in history. Through it all, the steel-belted Tiempo radial became the best-selling new tire in Goodyear history. It was the snow tire, the rain tire, the sun tire, the one tire that got thousands of people through last year. Tiempo, one tire you can drive with confidence all year.
So Southern California's defense does its job. Trojan offense standing in the end zone now as the referee blows the ball live. And a look at the stop. In particular, Dennis Johnson, 56, 51, Chip Banks, and underneath Lapka, defensive tackle, stacked them up. And the Trojans take the ball at the 1, first down. Charles White. White is across the 5 to the 7, where E.J. Jr. makes the tackle.
That's amazing. That play was designed to go off tackle to the right. There was nothing there. And White cut that thing clear back to the left guard and picked up about 5-6 yards on it.
Scores out of the middle of the country in that final from South Bend. You'd see Oklahoma's going to have sore legs before they get through today. Penn State edging SMU. Now UCLA coming back in the fourth quarter, down by 7, with Pittsburgh fighting off Temple to win by 8. It is second down and 4 for Southern Cal. Here to the outside comes White Ford. Across the 10 to the 11, he may have a first down. White Ford in at tailback, replacing Charles White. And John Robinson has no fear of putting Ford in a ball game because he is a game breaker.
E.J. Jr. did a good job of fighting off 2 blockers that time, but he couldn't quite get his hand on Ford.
Van Horn is out. You got Hobie Brenner in there along with James Hunter, a pair of tight ends on first down. First down, SC, their own 11-yard line. 6-man front now for Alabama. That's Ford. In at the 10-yard line by Marty Lyon, senior out of St. Petersburg, Florida, who's playing with a very sore foot. Stepped on a piece of glass and cut it, but he sure looks fit there, doesn't he?
You can expect this from him. He's the #1 tackler. He veers down to the inside and pursues. He's got great speed, and before, I believe it's White or Ford, I guess it's Ford, can make a cut, he grabs him.
Second down, 11, Southern Cal at their own 10. They lead 7-0. Stopped Alabama on the 1-yard line twice. 2 plays. Bama couldn't punch it in. Handed off inside to the up back, Lynn Kane, senior out of Los Angeles. Lynn weighs 205 pounds, not cut like the big old fullbacks they've had at SC previously. Jeff Rutledge on the sidelines, pondering the situation that he may have to come in and face shortly.
Well, there was
or he may not, the way Sheely played.
Yeah, there's projections that the fullback at USC for the first time will gain 1,000 yards. Well, they had 119 coming in here. See what they do with him the rest of the year.
Third down, 8 from the 13 for SC. Penalty. Too much time. Wearing that confounded alarm clock, you can't get away with 5 seconds. Tomorrow night, ABC's NFL Football Sunday edition. The New England Patriots and the Oakland Raiders from Oakland. Very big ball game for the New England Patriots. Enjoy it tomorrow night, 9 Eastern, 8 Central, 6 Pacific, over most of these ABC stations. Penalty, Southern Cal, 1 for 5 yards, Alabama 2 for 10, time call by USC. 10:55 to go in the first half, and the Trojans are on top by a score of 7-0.
A man who works with his hands is a proud man, proud of a lot of things, including his car. And one thing he can do for that car is add STP oil treatment. Over 40 million cans went into America's engines last year, and that makes STP the #1 choice of the men who work with their hands. Smile, cousin, you're on TV. Yeah, for my car, it's STP.
United we fly.
Where might you be going with that?
Same place you're going, Father. I'll check it straight through for you.
You better hurry. Man, it looks like I got about an hour yet, eh?
More like 10 minutes, I'm afraid.
Gonna see you're satisfied.
At United, we give you all we've got from takeoff to touchdown.
Working together.
We built the largest airline in the free world.
Round to my way.
You wouldn't be spoiling me now, would you?
We're gonna try.
Football excitement like you're viewing today is found at 99 Division II and 205 Division III NCAA colleges. See one of these colorful games in your area next week. In Division II, California Davis at Puget Sound, and in Division III, Hobart at St. Lawrence.
Final score, American League. Cleveland beat the Yankees, drummed them 10-1 today. Boston is leading Toronto in the 7th inning, 3-1. Red Sox could gain a game unless they fritter another one away. Third down, 13. Alabama dropping off. They send Butler and Sweeney outside to the open side of the field, and McDonald gives it to Charles White. White's to the 15, 16, short of the first down. Southern Cal now will have to punt. And what little wind there is will be blowing somewhat into the face of Marty King, the SC punter. John Knox, 99, Marty Lyons, 93, made the tackle for Alabama.
Maybe that wind has more significance as you look from here. The flags are waving. It looks like a light breeze, but the punting has not been up to the averages that they have enjoyed prior to the time they came into this game.
Nathan is deep. King hit a knuckleball too. He really didn't spin it. And Alabama gets good field position. There's a penalty flag thrown back at the 20-yard line. So let's see what the penalty call is as Ohio State goes out in front of Minnesota 27-3 in the fourth quarter. Michigan a winner over Notre Dame today. There's the clipping call. The 21-20 with Maryland and Stanford beating Illinois 28-3. Stanford, good little football team. Steve Dills has come in. Missouri beating Ole Miss. That could be Steve Sloan's first loss as the coach of the Rebels. Tulsa and Kansas State. Holy Cross and Air Force score in the second quarter. California and Pacific in the first period. Penalty marked off against Alabama. Big one. Moves the ball up across the 30 to the 31. Illegal block. The hand that goes in front of the knee, that's the illegal block call. When it goes behind the leg, that's your clipping call.
Before the possession. On the punt, that's a tough break. That's a tough penalty.
Big break for the Trojans. Pitch to Charles White.
Oh, my.
10 yards, maybe 11.
What a runner.
All those tailbacks at USC have that skating action and that long stride, leaving them room to accelerate if there's a hole somewhere. 10 carries for White, 102 yards already.
Doesn't look like he's going to get much right here. There are a lot of Alabama people, but look at that.
Yeah, but look at that 71 up there. That Buddy laying another big block for him, and Kane, the fullback, 21. That's what John McKay used to call student body right and left. First down, Trojans. Alabama at the Trojan 42. Fumble. McDonald picks it up and runs away from a loss as he gets it up to about the 48, where Chris Foote gave him a little breathing room to get through the hole. And
he had a lucky break that time. That ball bounced right back up in his hands after he fumbled the exchange.
He got 6 yards, second down, short 4.
Who said McDonald couldn't run?
Well, that track training they've given him has cut his 40-yard speed some to 4.8. 9:10 to go first half. SC leads Alabama 7-0. That's Dwight Ford. Penalty flag goes down as Ford cuts it across the 50 to the Alabama 49. John Knox the tackle. Looked like the umpire might have been the man who threw the flag. He sets up in the defensive secondary. Dwight Ford is limping as he comes away from that carry.
An ankle or knee?
Holding offense against SC. Ford limping off the field. That's double trouble for Southern Cal. Ford didn't play last week. Charles White carried 32 times against Oregon, played the whole ball game. Yale beat Brown today, 21-0. That's a bit of a surprise. 15-yard penalty back Southern California up to their own 35-yard line. They have got to go just inside the Alabama 49 to get a first down. And he's right at 17 yards. There's a surprise there with Vince Dooley's Bulldogs playing tough. Baylor still hanging on to a 4-point lead over Kentucky. Second down and 17, Southern Cal. Sweeney turns upfield. Williams and Sweeney out together. It is Sweeney. He's got it, and he is planted hard by number 17, Alan Crumbly, cornerback for Alabama. Well short of the first down. He gets it up to the 42, so it'll be second down and 9. Third down and 9, excuse me.
Normally speaking, you see the right-handed passers move to their right to the open field. Is this Munoz? Anyway, on the passing thing, we've seen this afternoon 2 left-handed passers, and they favor running to their left where it's easier to throw. And we saw execution on the part of McDonald at last play.
Just outside the 42, third down, 9. McDonald looking, going to run it. Dives, and he may have his first down at the Alabama 48. The Trojans were peeling back. Hunter, the tight end, had come back trying to throw a block, and if James had been able to get there in time, McDonald could run quite a while.
He's not too dumb, boy. He got down on that ground.
They also had 4 receivers in the secondary. So to tell you something, when you got 4 men out there and can't find one, somebody's playing decent defense, aren't they?
They had good coverage that time.
It is a first down, Southern California, at the Alabama 48. And we've got a timeout, USC. So they'll have one more timeout remaining with 7 minutes and 56 seconds to play in the first half here at Legion Field in Birmingham. And the Trojans, coached by John Robinson, lead Alabama 7-0.
By the time this day is done, you'll turn a mountain of canvas and a truckload of living dynamite into one of the world's oldest fantasies, the circus. Now comes Miller time. Time for the best tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life.
You've got the time. We've got the beer. Miller beer.
A lot of cars are like pizzas. To get a lot on them, you gotta pay a lot extra. But not the 1979 Chevy Chevette. It comes with a lot already on it. Chevette ignores the pizza principle. With it, you get an AM radio, reclining bucket seats, console, white striped tires, and more, all at no extra cost. So avoid the pizza principle.
Hi, Richie.
Get a car with a lot already on it. Get the best-selling small car in America, Chevy Chevette. It's a lot of car for the money.
Hi, Richie.
Hi, kid.
That's good. Coming soon, baseball's championship series, up close and personal the ABC way.
7-5-6. Left to play in the first half. Otis Page, 78. Alan Pugh, 75. Jack Campbell, 76. Along the offensive front, along with Pat Howell and Chris Flip for Southern California. Both coaches substituting a lot. Hot, muggy day. First down, SC, Alabama, 48. 5-man front for Alabama. The linebackers dancing around. Long count. Charles White outside. Boy, I tell you, he's nifty.
He's tough to bring down one-on-one. You can see that.
Ricky Tucker, number 18, had come out there from his free safety position. It looked like he might have White hold, but he juked him and went right on by him, but support came in to get him.
Remember, in high school, believe it or not, he played fullback in the wishbone.
Out of San Fernando. I saw him play there. The entire backfield for San Fernando, all were winners of granted aids at the college level for football, and all of them were all city performers. McDonald wants to go over the middle. Sweeney. No, didn't hold it. Double cover. Well, he forced that pass a little bit, and that is not a facet of his character, I think, that the coaches like to see, because Hackett, the quarterback coach, Paul Hackett's been trying to tell him, don't force it, because that's when you lose it. Here,
turned
he
inside.
did.
Yeah, he just turned inside. This looks like Murray leg. No, that's Ricky Tucker there coming in, as well as Don McNeil.
So it is third down, 8. 7:15 to go in the first half. White in motion. McDonald wants to throw, does. Right on the money. Pass pass is complete to Raymond Butler, Jr. out of Brazoria, Texas, and that'll be another Southern California first down. The Trojans dominating this first half of play.
Don looked cool on that. There he is, flanked out. Raymond Butler comes straight up the field, reads the coverage, and turns out that McDonald was very cool on that play. He got a good rush. Didn't look like he was going to have much time. He still delivered it right on the mark.
Football is marked at the 33 of Alabama. First down, Trojans. 6:55 to go first half. SC leads 7-0. White. Charles White has the ability with marvelous balance, as when he is hit, he can still squeeze another yard and a half on you.
This doesn't seem like the first guy ever has an opportunity to stop him cold. He's got one-on-one in the open field. It's just impossible to try to corral that dude.
Scott comes in at linebacker now, replacing Gilliland for Alabama on second down, and call it 4 from the 26. Another long count, probably check off. That'll cost him 5 yards.
Trying to audibilize, just took him too long.
Well, that's the second time that Southern Cal has been dinged with a too much time penalty. They now total 3 penalties, 25 yards. Alabama, 3 penalties, 25 yards. Clock stops at 6:11 to go first half.
They have second and 8 instead of second and short yardage. Changes the strategy.
Outside the 30. Kane. Then Kane to fullback to the 17. First down, Southern California. A big offensive front for SC. Buddy, Foot, Van Horn, Howell, Munoz opening the hole.
Well, we're seeing the Trojan fullback run the ball. You see Kane here reads the daylight, breaks it back to the left. The play was designed to go right over the right guard. Doggone good running. We may see more Trojan fullbacks running.
Alan Pugh, 75, was in there at the right tackle slot and threw a big block for them. It's White again. And White is shoved out of bounds as he crosses the 15-yard line. So he gained at least 2, maybe 3. They'll mark it at the 14. Give him 3.
You know, over the years, Keith, I've always admired the durability of the running backs of the Southern California Trojans. They carry the ball anywhere from 20 to 35 times, and they just keep coming right at you.
USC is possessing the ball against Alabama. This is the 16th play of this possession. They started at their own 1-yard line after holding the tie. White with 114. He's got it again. He's got a hold. And he spins it to the 10. He fumbles the ball. Kane, the fullback, covers for Southern California at about the 12. So White, who fumbled on the 1-yard line for SC in the first quarter, almost let it get away that time.
You know, this drive probably wouldn't have happened had they not had that personal foul on that punting situation, and they retained possession of it. Those are the kind of penalties that can really hurt you.
Southern California spins a timeout. That should be the last one for them with 5:14 to go in the first half. And the Trojans still lead the Tide 7-0.
Gee, Mr. Goodwrench, I don't know. It's going ka-thump, ka-thump, ka-thump.
Ka-thump, ka-thump, ka-thump.
Yeah.
Mr. Goodwrench understands your GM car. He has special GM training and GM equipment available to help him analyze your car and diagnose the problem.
No more ka-thump.
Thanks. Keep that great GM feeling.
Mr. Goodwrench?
With genuine GM parts.
I understand.
These people are being watched. They're being followed. From takeoff to landing, all airliners over this country are by radar on the ground. Now the FAA is installing the most advanced en route radars ever built. Developed by Westinghouse, the new radar gives controllers a clearer picture of aircraft through all kinds of weather. An improved radar. It's like a security blanket in the sky. By Westinghouse, a powerful part of your life.
Third down for the Southern California Trojans. The football is marked right about the Alabama 12-yard line. They need a long 4 for the first down. They've got to go exactly to the 7. They have held the ball for 7 minutes and 35 seconds, 16 plays in this possession. Lulo is in at fullback, replacing Kane. White, the tailback. McDonald looking to throw. Goes to the corner. Sweeney overthrows him. Out of bounds. Incomplete. And a penalty flag on the field. The crowd, 77,313. That is a new attendance record for a football game in the state of Alabama. Holding USC.
Well, that's the kind of penalties. This is what we tried to coach and avoid when I was coaching. Avoid those penalties, particularly when you're in 4-down area and we're driving in. And of course, the same thing happened to Alabama to allow Southern California to have that football and drive the ball 16 plays with a penalty that turned the ball over when they in fact should have had possession of it in good field position.
Sweeney comes out of the lineup with 5:09 to play in the first half, and obviously Alabama's going to accept that 15-yard penalty as the ball comes back to the 29-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 22 for USC. Coming into the lineup defensively, Byron Braggs for Alabama, big sophomore out of Montgomery. Butler will be one of the wide receivers for USC. Kevin Williams will be the other. They'll come to the wide side of the field. White's a man in motion. McDonald getting good protection, goes to White on the sidelines. Charles has no place to go except down. At the 23, it'll bring up 4th down as Murray Legg, number 19, was right there.
Well, that little yardage they got may have put him in a little better field position because I think he picked up, what, 4 or 5 yards there?
Final score, big upset there. 28-24 Kansas upsets UCLA. You'll have to look around a long time to find a bigger one than that. Frank Jordan is in for the field goal try. It'll be a 40-yarder. Hit it from the 30. They've got it on the left side for the sidewinder to hook it. He's got it up. He's got enough leg. He's got a good one. At 4:27 to go in the first half of play, the Southern California Trojans move out to a 10-0 lead over the Crimson Tide of Alabama. Well, we have had some surprises this week, and it isn't over. What about next week? Would it be at Corvallis, here as Tennessee plays Auburn, or Nebraska and Indiana at Bloomington, or North Carolina at Pittsburgh? Check your local listing for the game in your area. We'll offer you a considerable choice of 4 good football games next Saturday. Nathan and Eichner are deep now for Alabama as Rod Kerr is in to kick off. Kerr is a junior kicker out of San Gabriel, California.
He's kicking into the wind. They may get a pretty good return here.
Southern California in that last possession era had the ball for 8 minutes and 22 seconds and ran off 18 plays and came up with 3 points.
Well, with the assistance of that one big break on the penalty.
The kick is high for Eichner at the 3. Oh! Who was it? Kenny Moore, number 43, downfield like a bullet. And Eichner goes down inside the 10 at the 8-yard line.
Oh, that's great coverage. He catches the ball almost on the right hash mark, and he crosses to the left where they have the return set up. This is eating up a lot of time while you're running laterally. And, of course, who was that 43 again?
43 is Kenny Moore.
Kenny Moore does the job. There he is, right there. Kenny Moore knocking him down in tough field position.
Rutledge is back at quarterback for Alabama. Flips it outside to Ogilvie. Major Ogilvie across the 10 to the 11 before the Trojans corral him. Herb Ward and Ronnie Lott, 2 key people on the defensive play for SC. So it's about 3 yards for Ogilvie with 4:05 to go in the first half. Southern California leading Alabama 10-0.
Well, Alabama's an awful tough field position to be doing any operating here. I don't know whether Coach Bryant would want to sit on this thing and try to come back in the second half. You don't want to make a mistake down here with a 10-0. When you're behind 10-0 here, it could be very disastrous.
Especially after the other defensive unit has stopped you on the 1-yard line on 2 plays. Rutledge gives it to Ogilvie. They throw it up the middle, and Major Ogilvie runs it up here around the 18-yard line. Ball tumbled loose But let's look into the middle of the line and watch the Alabama center, Dwight Stevenson, working on Rich Dimmler, the nose guard for SC.
Straight on blocking. It was a draw play, a good call for that matter. Dimmler takes it to the right. He thinks the action is to the right, and Stevenson just keeps him out of the play. As you can see here, boy, he sticks on you. Look at that. No wonder they like him.
It is a first down for Alabama. The football is marked at the 18-yard line. 5-man front for USC with 3 linebackers. Rutledge on an option. Ogilvy again. Upended. Upside down he goes. Ronnie Lott, penalty flag. Personal foul, Southern California. 15 yards. Going to be walked off here against the Trojans with 3:07 to play. Alabama now gets a break and march it up the field 15.
Well, that took them out of that tough field position that they had. Now they can operate a little bit, maybe use a few gadgets and try to go for the big play where any error wouldn't be as disastrous as it was when they were back on the 8.
Yard line. First down, tied. Nathan's in motion, loops in. He's in the seams. Pass goes downfield, thrown, poorly thrown, into the hands of Herb Ward, his second interception of the season. He had one against Oregon last week that he took for a touchdown. Nathan is open on this play, but you watch here as Pugh comes down and the pass is underthrown.
Well, I think the Trojans had 5 interceptions last week against Oregon, 5 or 6. Great play. The ball was really underthrown, but still a great job by Herb Ward coming back and picking the ball up.
And so with 3:02 now to go in the first half, the Trojans are happy on the sidelines, and they own the football. First down at their 44. Williams to the tight side. McDonald, the left-hander, looking for him. Goes deep. Williams is down there. Turned the wrong way. Ball looped, slid out of bounds. Bobby Smith was covering. Williams had him, but McDonald could not quite get him going down the sidelines. Look at Oklahoma. They must have blisters on their feet. Arkansas beating Oklahoma State 19-7, and Michigan winning today over Notre Dame at South Bend. Penn State coming back to beat SMU, and Kansas upsets UCLA. Second down, 10. White. Fun to watch him, isn't it? 35-yard line, first down, Southern Cal.
What a runner. What a runner.
Look back into the thrashing area, though, and you'll find number 71, the big guard, Buddy, making a big block. Watch 71 there now as White goes first that way. Boom. Down goes one, and then Charles is on his own.
Look at those moves he makes. He just has a sixth sense making the moves at the right time. I'm glad I'm not a defensive man out there because there's no way I could catch that dude.
15 carries, 138 yards for White. We still have 2.5 minutes to play in the first half. McDonald wants to throw. All day. He'll eat it. He didn't find what he wanted down there. It's good defensive secondary work as Butler was covered up by 2 men. Kevin Williams coming across, and he was covered by McNeil. He looked over trying to find Cal Sweeney. He was the only chance he had, and finally by then, after time for a picnic lunch, the offensive blocking broke down enough for Alabama to get in, but he had all day to look around.
He really did. He had all kinds of time. I thought sure he'd find someone open, but there was good coverage in that secondary.
Rather than risk it, he pulled it down. The ball is back at the 39-yard line where it is second down and 14. Charles White going nowhere. Derek Krause this time nails the SC tailback. That's the first time we've called Krause's name today.
Well, he's had a great career at Alabama. Had some great days. I'll tell you this: you stop White like that, you made a pretty good tackle.
Third down, 11 coming up for Southern Cal at the Alabama 36 with 1:50 to play. USC's total yardage on the ground, 186 yards. White has 140 of it. And third and 11. Penalty flag. Warren Lyles, penetrating from his nose guard position, number 91, gets the SC quarterback for his second successive sack, but let's see about the penalty. Going against the Trojans, you can tell by the roar. Pete Williams walking it off.
No, McDonald had a lot of time to throw that time. Maybe it was because of the holding, I don't know. But again, the secondary was all over the receivers.
Halftime, that's what we'll have for you. Highlights of that Michigan-Notre Dame game, the Fireman's Fund flashback. Football is sitting now at the Southern California 41, 30 yards in penalties on this possession.
You know, thus far, the difference between last year's game and this year's game is the ability of the Trojans to run the football. A year ago, they just could not run against the Alabama defense.
Sweeney left. 3rd and a half a mile. Got to go to the Alabama 25 for their first down. And Lynn Kane back in at fullback. Tripped as he crossed the line of scrimmage, moves it out to about the 48, and there it'll be 4th down for Southern Cal, and Marty King will come in to punt. Now there'll be a timeout here as the clock is stopped. I guess they'll stop the clock. I heard the whistle blow, but now they move it. The scoreboard clock didn't stop running, but I'm not sure that the official clock might well have been stopped there because Pete Williams gave us the full sign as Nathan is deep to accept the punt for Alabama. Big rush, kicked away. Fair catch, Alabama 23. First down tied. Tony Nathan covering the ball. 30-yard punt. Indiana playing at home against the Washington Huskies, leading 14-7. Alabama goes up there to Seattle in 2 weeks. The Huskies last year, remember, had a pretty dismal start on the road. But they'll give Alabama, I'm sure, a pretty good ball game in Seattle. That's what's coming up on ABC's Wide World of Sports next Saturday. The Silverstone 150, United States Gymnastics World Team Trials, 5 Eastern and Pacific and 4 Central Time. 55 seconds left. Back to Rutledge. They want to throw it. Throws it as far as he can. Tony Nathan is out there. Pass is picked off by Herb Ward, his second interception of the ball game.
What a catch. I couldn't believe he could get to that ball. He got it on his fingertip, and he brought it back to himself when he was extended fully in the air. Here's another look. It's a little gadget. They pitch it out like it's going to be a sweep. He turns around and gives it back to Rutledge. He throws the ball downfield. Watch this interception. He gets it on his right hand, and what a catch. Woo.
Herb Ward came out of San Francisco City College, 1977. Did not play last year, was redshirted, but he is very obvious in 1978.
You see, Nathan came down and was hopeful that Ward would bite the bait. It looked like he was going to stop there for a turn-in, but Ward hung back and picked the ball up.
Herb now with 3 interceptions on the season. The pitch to Dwight Ford, who had left the game with a strained left knee, but he comes back into the lineup as a happy Herb Ward exults on the sidelines with 42 seconds to play in the first half, and the Trojans leading Alabama 10-0. It's been the Charles White Show so far. Only slightly second billing to the USC defense. Ford is your tailback. Second down 5. Kane is wrestled down by Lyles, the nose guard for Alabama. So you're looking at 3rd down and 30 seconds to go in the first half.
Well, Alabama had scored when they were down on that 1-yard line. This would be a 10-7 game instead of a 10-0 game. I never would have believed that Trojans could keep them out of the end zone when we were down there that close to the goal line. But that just goes to show you anything can happen in this great game of college football.
Should be the last play of the first half.
Again?
Too much time. Nope, Alabama calls timeout. It could have gone either way, couldn't it?
Well, they're probably going to try to force them into a kicking situation here if they can. It's 3rd down and about 3 or 4. To get this play run off, and they can keep them from getting a first down, they'll force a punt and possibly a punt return. It's a good, smart move on the part of the Alabama coaching staff.
Alabama with 1 timeout remaining. Boston did beat Toronto 3-1. The Yankees were defeated. So Boston picks up a game in the American League Eastern Division. And October 3rd, we'll be covering the American League playoffs and the National League playoffs. October 3rd, running until conclusion, best 3 out of 5. 6 ticks remaining on the clock now as Charles White goes back in at tailback. And Maryland held on to edge North Carolina 21-20. So Dick Crum gets his first taste of Atlantic Coast Conference football, and look at that. Columbia defeated Harvard today, and I don't know when that happened last. Lou Little will be happy to hear that, won't he? Charles White on an option turns it upfield. And a penalty. And time has expired. The first half is over. So at halftime, the University of Southern California Trojans, pretty well controlling the football game, lead the Crimson Tide of Alabama by a score of 10-0. We'll be back with a Fireman's Fun flashback featuring highlights of today's Michigan-Notre Dame game, the Alabama band, and other events after this word.
Chief Roy gets cuffed to a con man, thrown by love, and tied up with a blonde. Then meet the family that found each other in the want ads on the premiere of Apple Pie. And the Love Boat sails with Melissa Gilbert, when Julie has to play Cupid for her own parents, Betty Garrett, and Three's Company's Norman Fell. Then on Fantasy Island, Sonny Bono pirates away Diana Canova's heart.
Watch tonight on ABC.
Few cars are designed with such uniqueness as the 79 Versailles, designed and engineered with beautiful new styling and lavishly equipped with speed control and electronic entertainment system. The pleasure of driving in total luxury with the ride, styling, and prestige of a Lincoln Continental. From its genuine leather seats to its new roof line, 79 Versailles is designed and engineered the right way for you at Bart Starr Lincoln Mercury Hoover and Eastwood in Irondale.
Where does U.S. Steel get the great quantities of energy needed to make steel? In recent years, we've been using more coal, and more of the gases produced from it. Now, this lets us cut our use of natural gas and our use of fuel oil. Much of the coal we use comes from our own mines, and we have reserves that should last for a century. Self-reliance at United States Steel, it's one of our strengths.
You're watching TV 6 in Birmingham.
The score at halftime, Southern California 10, Alabama nothing, and this is how it has happened. The USC defense playing a very sturdy ball game, holding Alabama at bay. Charles White, after fumbling on the 1-yard line, losing the ball, Alabama recovering, broke loose on the first play from the 40, took it in for the touchdown. Jordan's point good. Second quarter, a 40-yard field goal by Frank Jordan, and that's where we are right now at 10-0. And the final score up at South Bend today in the first game between Michigan and Notre Dame, 28-14, the Wolverines beating the Irish. So, we're going to have a look at some of the highlights from that ball game played today in South Bend. And today's Fireman Fund Flashback is brought to you by Fireman's Fund Insurance. And Fireman's Fund Insurance is brought to you by an independent agent near you. Now, here is Dave Dials from New York to recount some of the exciting moments from the ball game in South Bend between the Irish and the Wolverines.
Capacity crowd on hand, South Bend, Indiana. Michigan and Notre Dame playing each other for the first time in 35 years, and an ominous start for the Wolverines. Russell Davis fumbling on the first play from scrimmage. Scott Zettig of Notre Dame recovers at the Michigan 18-yard line. 3 plays later, the Notre Dame quarterback, Joe Montana, sends his flanker in motion, but it's his tight end, Dennis Grindinger, he hits for the touchdown. The point after is good. The Irish lead 7-0. But second period, Harlan Huckleberry of Michigan scampering 14 yards down the sidelines to the Notre Dame 6-yard line. Then the much maligned Wolverine quarterback, Ricky Leach, now a senior, who spurned a baseball contract, keeps it himself, goes in for the touchdown. Point after is good, and Michigan is in a tie with Notre Dame 7-all. The action now, second quarter. Notre Dame's Vegas Ferguson capping a 76-yard drive going over from the 4. Point after by Eunice is good, and Notre Dame leads at the half, 14-7. And the man looking on, Glenn Bo Schembechler, is worried indeed. Action in the third quarter. Michigan's Ricky Leach passing 5 yards to his junior tight end, Doug Marsh. And they say Michigan never passes the ball. This one good for a touchdown. He's wide open. The point after is also good. And it's all tied up at 14-all. Action now late in the third period following the touchdown. Michigan's Jerry Meter, watch him out of Bloomfield Andover High School. He intercepts Joe Montana's pass, returns it 14 yards to the Notre Dame 33. That sets up this play. Leach tossing his second touchdown pass of the afternoon, again to Doug Marsh. The point after, though, is wide to the left, and it's Michigan 20, Notre Dame 14. But this is Montana under pressure and intercepted again as Mike Harden steps in front of the would-be receiver. Intercepts. Michigan has the ball and is on the move again. This drive climaxed. Ricky Leach to Ralph Clayton, 18 yards. 26-14. The point after, no good. But the Irish have one more indignity coming. Quarterback Joe Montana hit by Curtis Greer in the end zone for a safety. It's Michigan 28 and Notre Dame 14.
You know, this hat is the sign of one of America's largest, most important insurance companies, Fireman's Fund. But right now, we're going to beat the drums for a sign that's even more important to you. It belongs to the independent agents who sell our insurance, who choose from several companies to find the best policy and price. So look for the sign of the independent agents. They work for you to beat the band. In the yellow pages, Fireman's Fund Insurance Companies.
Next Saturday on ABC, an exciting lineup of regional college football featuring North Carolina against 9th-ranked Pittsburgh, Nebraska and Indiana. Other NCAA action includes Tennessee and Auburn, Washington, Oregon State, plus 3 more regional games. Check your local listings. And on ABC's Wide World of Sports, top drivers, high speeds, the Silverstone 150 Indianapolis car race, and Precision Counts as America's best compete in the United States Gymnastics World Team Trials next Saturday.
In New York, this is Dave Dials. A long afternoon for Dan Devine, and Andrea Kirby. Could be a long afternoon for the Bear.
Exactly. Top-ranked Alabama is trailing USC 10-0. That's at the half. Rice was clobbered by second-ranked Oklahoma 66-7. It was number 3 Arkansas in a win over Oklahoma State 19-7. SMU almost upset Penn State, the 4th-ranked team. SMU led twice. However, Penn State pulled it out to win 26-21. Number 5, Michigan, reviving that rivalry with Notre Dame, and the Wolverines out on top 28-14 in the highlights that you just saw. Later, Wyoming plays at number 6, Texas. Here's the upset of the day in the top 10. Number 8, UCLA was beaten by Kansas by a score of 28-24. Kansas scored 3 touchdowns within a 3-minute period. Temple lost to number 9, Pittsburgh. That a score of 20-12. And later today, it'll be number 10, Texas A&M, playing at Boston College. Dave, about some baseball.
Well, a bad day for the New York Yankees. They were beaten by the Cleveland Indians 10-1, and Boston has just defeated Toronto 3-1. Jim Rice had his 43rd home run, so the Yankees' lead in the American League East has now been reduced to 1 game. In the National League East, the Phillies have defeated the Mets 1-0 in the first of 2 and lead in the nightcap 4-3. Meanwhile, Montreal has beaten the Pirates by a score of 3-2. More football coming up, but right now, this message from the NCAA.
Hello, I'm Carm Koza, President of the American Football Coaches Association. Speaking for all college coaches, I want to thank you for the wonderful support you have given our game, both in your attendance and television viewing. But there is another very important part of football that I urge you to follow and help in any way you can. I'm talking about high school football. In some areas, high schools are having difficulty sustaining their programs because of rising costs. Over many years, the value of football in the physical and spiritual development of our youth has been well established. More than 1 million students participate in high school football. And it is very important that as many young men as possible continue to benefit from our game. The high quality of high school football is apparent to us. The skills of the freshmen who come to us attest to that. Again, our thanks to you for what you have done for college football, but please don't overlook the high school programs in your area. I thank you.
The preceding has been a message furnished by the NCAA.
We're back at halftime in Birmingham, Alabama, Legion Field, where Southern California leads top-rated Alabama by a score of 10-0. The $1 Million Band from the University of Alabama, directed by Dr. James Ferguson, performing at halftime the music of Fiddler on the Roof, the Bottle Dance. Try that on an 85-degree afternoon and 70% humidity. Oh. Play that funky music is next. Of Alabama. They call them that because way back in the 30s, they put on a performance and somebody wrote that it sounded like $1 million, and the football team was getting whipped all over the field, and from that day on, the Alabama band has been called the $1 Million Band. The music now, España. Alabama band, Dr. James Ferguson and his people on a hot afternoon working hard, Legion Field in Birmingham. USC Alabama game is being brought to you by the Bell system, people using technology to keep your phone system the best in the world. By new Schlitz Light Natural Pilsner beer, still less filling with a taste that's bigger than light. By Goodyear, maker of Tiempo, snow tire, rain tire, sun tire, one tire. You can drive with confidence all year. And by STP products, for the man who takes good care of his hard-working car. Let's spend a moment to let you become acquainted with the burgeoning university called Alabama at Tuscaloosa.
America needs energy, and Alabama's got it. We're a state that's rich in coal, oil, natural gas, and wood. But just as important as producing that energy for America is producing it wisely, so that Alabamians for years to come will benefit. At the University of Alabama, we're working on ways to develop energy safely, efficiently, economically, while we protect our environment. Our researchers are looking for better ways to take coal from the ground, ways to recycle oil, new methods in solar heating, new sources of energy, including the residues from Alabama's vast forests, ways to make engines more efficient, and we're studying the total impact on our people that comes with energy development, the problems it creates in health and transportation and economics and human services. We're working to help Alabama develop the abundance of her natural wealth without destroying her great natural beauty. Energy, it's important to business at the University of Alabama.
We're at halftime here in Birmingham with Southern California leading Alabama by a score of 10-0. There are some comments from you on the first half of play.
Well, the two things that I mentioned at the top of the show is the ability of the Trojan offense to move the ball this year instead of throw it, and they have done that. They've moved the ball on the ground. And also we have seen Alabama retaliating with a pass defense that has been real good. They've shorted up real well, although McDonald is pretty cool back there and has thrown some strikes. Quite a football game.
But so far it has been the Charles White show with the USC defense having a brilliant moment or two. But Charles White, it's incredible numbers at halftime. He may be headed for a 200-yard-plus day.
He's really putting on some kind of a performance out here, but he's been a great back. And the yardage that he's gained, the touchdowns that he's had. Here's a picture of him right here, number 12. I'll tell you, he's the kind of back that comes along just so often. You don't get many like this.
Here he strikes from 40 yards. Remember now that Charles had fumbled on the 1-yard line with Alabama recovering. SC gets the ball back. White goes outside, gets some good blocking, but once he gets into the secondary, he's pretty much on his own. And from that point on, he just flat flew.
He's got that innate ability to read blocks and also move the opposite direction of the weight.
Without destroying her great natural beauty. Energy, it's important to business at the University of Alabama.
We're at halftime here in Birmingham with Southern California leading Alabama by a score of 10-0. There are some comments from you on the first half of play.
Well, the two things that I mentioned at the top of the show is the ability of the Trojan offense to move the ball this year instead of throw it, and they have done that. They've moved the ball on the ground. And also we have seen Alabama retaliating with a pass defense that has been real good. They've shorted up real well, although McDonald is pretty cool back there and has thrown some strikes. Quite a football game.
But so far it has been the Charles White show with the USC defense having a brilliant moment or two. But Charles White, it's incredible numbers at halftime. He may be headed for a 200-yard-plus day.
He's really putting on some kind of a performance out here, but he's been a great back. And the yardage that he's gained, the touchdowns that he's had. Here's a picture of him right here, number 12. I'll tell you, he's the kind of back that comes along just so often. You don't get many like this.
Here he strikes from 40 yards. Remember now that Charles had fumbled on the 1-yard line with Alabama recovering. SC gets the ball back. White goes outside, gets some good blocking, but once he gets into the secondary, he's pretty much on his own. And from that point on, he just flat flew.
He's got that innate ability to read blocks and also move the opposite direction of the weight shift that a defender has. And this is the earmark of the great backs. You don't see that often, that many great backs as Charles White. He's great today.
A field goal from Frank Jordan made it 10-0 halftime. That's where we are. The teams have come back. We'll be ready to tee it up for the second half.
You know, when I've got a little extra time on my hands, I like to do things I really enjoy, like roping. But there's one thing I enjoy all the time, and that's tobacco. And just like millions of other guys, I get my tobacco pleasure without lighting up, because I use smokeless tobacco. My favorite brand is Skoal with the wintergreen taste. And just a pinch between your cheek and gum is all it takes. And boy, it sure does feel good in there. So take it from me, Walt Garrison. Do something you're really gonna enjoy. Try going smokeless.
You know me? Of course you do. I am money. Your money. You work for me. So hard. What's so funny? You should have me working for you.
An IDS representative can get tough with money. Put it to work with a personalized financial plan. We've done it for 80 years for business and for people just like you. IDS. We help people manage money.
You must be ready for a beer.
I'm ready for a new Schlitz Light.
There's a new taste in Schlitz Light. The taste of natural ingredients brewed into a Pilsner beer. New Schlitz Light. Still less filling with a taste that's bigger than light.
We climbed it because it was there.
And we came back down because this was here.
Schlitz Light. Natural Pilsner beer.
The first half statistics show you that Southern California was the dominant team, totaling 258 yards against the 135 for Alabama. They held the ball roughly 4 minutes longer than Alabama did. And we're now ready to go with the second half of play as Alabama kicks off to Southern Cal. From the end zone, Butler, no. He'll bring it back to the 20 instead. So now let's have a close-up look at the young men who play the defensive front for Alabama. Gary De Niro started. Marty Lyons, big tackle. Curtis McGriff works in the middle. Mike Sebastian at a tackle, and E.J. Jr. the third at defensive end. Southern California sends out Paul McDonald with Lynn Kane. Charles White set behind him. Sweeney left. Kevin Williams in motion. Chris Foot to snap it. Ball goes to White. White runs into the stack, bounces off, and bounces back to about the 23. The Alabama linebackers will line up this way. Ricky Gilliland scored a touchdown last week. Barry Krause is number 77. Don McNeil at a corner. Bobby Smith, the other one. Murray Legg, the strong safety. And the free safety is Ricky Tucker. We'll show you the Trojan defense. And Alabama has the ball. Second down and 7. McDonald wants to throw. Does short. And it's to the big tight end, Hunter, who is just flat crunched when he gets up across the 30 to the 32. High, low.
He just stood right on the line of scrimmage and faked the block. And McDonald rolled out to his left. All this underneath coverage, the linebackers went back, and of course then he was wide open when he slipped through. It's a real tough pass to cover against the zone defense.
Offensive front for Southern Cal listed there. It is a first down for the Trojans at their own 32-yard line. 6-man front for Alabama defensively. White throws it to the quarterback, McDonald, and the sum total of the effort is a loss with a penalty flag on the field. Loss is back to the 27 of 5 yards. Let's check the penalty.
I don't think Robinson wanted that kind of improvising, but that's what he did.
The flag is picked up. Apparently there will be no penalty. Gilliland.
Oh, the
Little
officials
face
missed,
mask.
missed that one.
Maybe they declined it, but we didn't get a wave off from the officials. Lynn Kane trying to go outside from his fullback position. Runs it from the 27 out to about the 32, where it's going to be third down. They'll give him up near the 33, apparently, so make it second down and 9. Third down and 9. Get it right yet. They'll keep trying. Big folks up front for the Trojans, tackle to tackle. Of course, Munoz at 273 helps the average considerably. Third down, a little over 9 for the first down. Alabama's 4-man front. They're dropping off. They give it to Charles White. White's caught. Fumble for football. Alabama's got it. Big turnover in the football game. Second fumble by White at the 42 of USC. Alabama has it. White's second effort trying to break the tackle, and the ball squirted loose.
Is that Ricky Tucker that shook it loose? Take a look here. White comes good, gets good blocking in front of him. Right there. No, yes it is. It's Ricky Tucker that shook that ball loose.
And Alabama's operating at the USC 41. Major Ogilvie breaks it. He's gone. And John Robinson is shocked. The try for the extra point is good by McElroy, Alan McElroy. Legion Field is fairly rattling. Early in the third quarter, it's now 10-7 USC.
Ed White, you're one of the strongest men in football, but I'll bet you that one drop of Eastman 910 adhesive is stronger than you are.
No way.
It's been less than a minute, and even you won't be able to pull them apart.
Oh, come on.
If just one drop of Eastman 910 is stronger than Ed White, imagine how it can handle the tough jobs around the house.
Incredible.
Ed, Mr. White, Eastman 910 adhesive. One drop is stronger than you are.
Son, could I use your car tonight?
Sure. Don't forget to put some gas in it.
Every family should have at least one diehard. The maintenance-free diehard has extra power to start your car when most batteries won't. Sold only at Sears.
Charles White is deep for Southern California, along with Raymond Butler, to receive the kickoff from Alabama, as Major Ogilvie counted it back over the middle with a great block from Booth and Stevenson. Raced 41 yards, and here we go with the kickoff. High, it is deep. Butler goes to the back line, looks at it, and he goes beyond the field of play. Here's a look at the touchdown run by Ogilvie.
There's some great blocking. If you watch Dimmler, they double up on him. Ogilvie breaks to the inside of it. He gets daylight, he splits into the secondary, makes a move to his right, and now he's beyond everybody in just a foot race, walking into the end zone here. What a beautifully blocked play, and Alabama's back in this game.
Trojans ball, first down at their own 20. Place is roaring. Here comes the opportunity to explain a new rule to you now. The referee calls time. It is incumbent on the home crowd to respect the necessity of the quarterback being able to communicate with his people. Now, that's one. The second time, an announcement can be made on the public address system. The third time, it's 5 yards. They simmer down a little. The Trojans get the play off. Charles White to the 25. Ricky Gilliland, the tackle. 20 carries, 166 yards for Charles White. This program, a special exclusive of ABC Sports. Let's pause 5 seconds to allow our local stations to identify themselves.
TV6 in Birmingham, Alabama's #1 station.
The play there by Gilliland making the tackle. But White got 5. On 2nd and 5, it's Dwight Ford for 1. E.J. Jr. the tackle.
You know, you wonder, Keith, whether or not the heat and humidity will take its toll of the Trojans in the second half. Coach Bryant said that this has been the hottest preseason and regular season practice sessions that he's ever had. And I'm sure that the Alabama is more accustomed to it, certainly, than the Trojans, even though they're out there in warm country. The humidity is not as high.
SC's got to be a little shocked having Alabama hit him with a bolt of lightning, but then Alabama had to absorb one themselves. It's 3rd down and 4. Ford is in motion, and McDonald to throw it. He has all day, and he throws behind Butler, and Raymond can't hang on. McDonald had a long time to get it off. He had a man and just simply didn't hit him.
Well, he was moving out to his left, and he threw the ball behind him.
Ball is now 7 of 12 for 67 yards. And there is pandemonium at the moment in Birmingham, because obviously this is an Alabama crowd. Some 3,000 Trojan fans are here. Marty King has kicked twice, 42.5-yard average. Nathan Deep. Not a particularly good kick. It takes a Trojan bounce on the sidelines, but it'll be marked out of bounds at the Alabama 36-yard line. That's a 38-yard punt, 11:19 to go. USC Eric Scoggins, Myron Lapka, the defensive front, Rich Demler, the nose guard, Ty Sperling is the defensive tackle. Linebacker or outside man is Larry McGrew. Show you the rest of them after this play.
Let's see if they come to the middle again. Same play to the left.
Bolton wide right.
It is, same play left. There it is.
Nathan slashes up the middle to the 42. From the 36 to the 42 for 6 yards for Tony Nathan. Dennis Johnson, the tackle, number 56.
What happens on the play, they fake to the fullback, and then they hand back, and the linebackers are misdirected by 1 fraction of a second or 1 step. Johnson did a great job here of recovering and making the tackle.
2nd down, 4.
Same play.
Nathan thrown down after 2 yards. Rich Demler gets a piece of the action this time, and Rich might have won a scuffle in there with Dwight Stevenson.
Well, he's on the shoulder here. He doesn't get any help from his guard. He actually goes around the block to make that play. That's a lot of quickness.
Nathan's shirt torn. He's out. Lou Eichner's in. Out of the wishbone, Alabama 3rd and 2. Rutledge. Ogilvy. And he cannot turn the corner. So he's short of the 45. There's a Trojan, Chip Banks, shaken up. Dennis Johnson is the linebacker. Chip Banks right there down on the field shaken. Carter Hartwig is a cornerback for SC. Tim Lavender is a cornerback. Willie Crawford, a rover. Dennis Smith, a safety. Johnson is the man shaken up.
Carter Hardwick, excuse me, Keith. Carter Hardwick did a good job of keeping them from getting Alabama from getting that 1st down. They came in and made a tackle low enough that it stopped as an Ogilvy before he could get the 1st down.
Dennis Johnson comes up hobbling. USC is playing without one of their most experienced linebackers who plays to the outside, Gary Cobb. He has not played this year as yet. We lose Dennis Johnson. He's going to shake it off. John Robinson go out to get him and bring him back. So Dennis will be all right, apparently.
He looks okay.
It'll be 4th down and a yard for Alabama. Humphrey is in to punt. He's kicked 3, 16, 34, 27. Raymond Butler is deep for Southern California. Hangs it up. Short, and a fair catch is called by Ronnie Lott. And USC now will go to work just short of their 20-yard line, leading by a score of 10-7 with 10:04 to play in the 3rd quarter.
We're going to show Grandma our new Chevy Malibu.
A freshly sliced apple pie called Chevy Malibu.
The 1979 Chevy Malibu has the right room, right headroom, legroom, and trunk room. The right size, new family midsize.
Looks like Bill bought himself a new Malibu.
The right ingredients, like an impressive mileage rating and a beautiful body by Fisher. It's got the right name, Chevrolet. No wonder it's a family favorite.
A freshly sliced apple pie
called Chevy Malibu.
The Goodyear Tiempo is the all-year radial proved last year. Tiempo was the steel-belted snow tire that got Frank Osso through last winter.
I haven't had any problems with my Tiempos all last year, wet, ice, or snow.
Tiempo was a rain tire from Nancy Bentz.
I didn't have any trouble with skidding, sliding, or stopping on the wet roads. I think they're great.
Tiempo is the snow tire, rain tire, sun tire, the one tire that does it all. Tiempo, one tire you can drive with confidence all year.
Football excitement is just the beginning in the Pacific 10 Conference. Last year, Pac-10 members won the national championships in baseball, track and field, cross-country, tennis, and water polo. Small wonder the Pac-10 is known as the Conference of Champions.
SC linebacker Dennis Johnson on the sidelines, a cool drink. He's had some ministrations to a strained knee after having been helped off the field, and this is what happened to him.
There's unfortunate situations where you get your knee caught the wrong way and it doesn't bend in that direction. Watch his right leg. You see right there? But he appears to be all right. That's the kind of block that could have caused a serious injury.
Call it the 19, Southern California Trojans first down. Fullback has Lynn Kane. And he's out to near the 29. Could be just a little short of the first down.
Well, he got a lot of daylight that time. He popped right through there.
He's gained 48 today on 8 carries. Time called. They'll bring the change in to measure. You have 9:50 to play in the third quarter, and Southern Cal leads 10-7. Tomorrow night, ABC's NFL football special Sunday edition features the New England Patriots at Oakland against the Raiders. The Raiders 2-1 this season. You saw a game get away from the New England Patriots last Monday night, and they're probably burning about that. So it should be a pretty good one tomorrow night in Oakland. At the 29, it is a first down for Southern Cal. Butler to the left, Williams to the right. Garcia, that is, in motion. And it's Charles White. And White moves it from the 29 to the 37 for 8 yards. Marty Lyons, defensive tackle, gets a taste of the strength of the SC offensive unit.
He really gets posted and driven, and that's Munoz, the weak, what they call the weak tackle. And he's only 6'7", 273. Of course, that's only a term identifying the side that he goes on.
Charles White now has 174 yards on 21 carries. Fullback Kane lunging for the first down. He's close. If they mark him beyond the 39, he will have it at 8:50 to go, third quarter. Alabama's touchdown coming on a 41-yard bolt by Major Ogilvie in the third quarter. The Trojans had led at halftime 10-0.
Both of the touchdown runs came from about the same portion of the field and blocked exceptionally well.
It is a first down just beyond the SC 39. An idea of the two backs that we figured would do a lot of running today. So far, it's been all White. That's Dwight Ford. Stacked up, but stumbles ahead across the 40. They'll give him probably to about the 42, and let's call it 2 yards. Second down and 8 coming up. Buckeyes won today, 27-10 over Minnesota. Postman in the ACC. We'll see North Carolina next week against Pittsburgh in some areas of the country, and Yale shut out Brown. Dartmouth winning today in the Ivy League, and that'll make Messrs. Arledge and Forty and a lot of Columbia folks happy.
Set them up.
Second and 8. Trojans are working in the middle, using up a lot of time, grinding it out. The gain is up to, well, it could be as far as the 47, where they unstuck it. Navy rolling along this year with another solid win today. Ball ball is just short of the 47. It is third down. 3 yards. Kentucky beat Baylor 25-21. So the Wildcats, facing defeat late in the game, fought back to beat Baylor, and the Bears are 0-2. Duke plays Michigan next week. 3rd and 3. McDonald to throw. Goes deep, too deep. Misses Garcia. McNeil was right with him, step for step. And so the Trojans will punt. Alabama defense a little more ferocious here in the early going of the second half.
Been a good second half. They've contained the Trojans pretty well, with the exception of a first down or two on this drive. They've done a good job.
Nathan Deep for Alabama. King to punt for the Trojans. SC hoping for a big one here from King. The pressure's on. The kick is away. Pretty good kick. Drives Nathan back. Waves, fair catch, lets it go, and it just trickles into the end zone. Just barely.
Quite an effort there.
You see Buddy, 71, at big guard. He was down there off the snap of the ball coming out of the middle.
He can really move.
Purdue beating Ohio today. That was a 53-yard punt. Michigan State won big today. Iowa State won big today. Dexter Green and his folks. And Indiana did upset Washington 14-7 at Bloomington. Stanford trounced Illinois at 35-10. And Missouri did a tap dance on Ole Miss 45-14. First down for Alabama at the 20. Rutledge to Whitman. Whitman to the 26-yard line for 6 yards. In the Alabama backfield, it is Rutledge at quarterback, Whitman at fullback, Lou Eichner and Major Ogilvie. California, third quarter lead over Pacific. Out on the West Coast. Pacific located in Stockton, California, the University of California, of course, in Berkeley. Second down, 4 from the 26 for the Tide. That's Ogilvie, first down. Major Ogilvie, who grew up just a short ways from Legion Field and was all-everything high school player, turns the corner and gives the Tide a first down at the 35.
Been pretty consistent with the outside option. They haven't come up with a long gainer, but they've really created problems for the Trojans with their consistency.
Ogilvie, 66 yards, 9 carries. Woke of that 41-yard touchdown sprint. The Alabama offensive people up front reflected there. And 6 minutes to go, third quarter. Alabama staying with the wishbone. Back to Ogilvie. Strong runner across the 40 to the 41. Willie Crawford, first hitter for USC.
As this game wears away, there may be a significant difference in the conditioning factors because of the high humidity here. Although Southern California is hanging in there.
Leading 10-7 at 5:25 to go, third quarter. Second down, 3. Alabama. Ogilvie again in traffic. He gets a couple. It'll be third and short for Alabama. You can see Dennis Johnson is back in at the linebacker position for Southern Cal after having had a leg stretched. Ricky Gray, another freshman linebacker, number 35, has gone on with the field for Southern Cal. They're sending in a goal line defensive unit now on third down and a yard.
Let's see whether or not they fake a run action and go for the bomb. They're probably in man-to-man coverage. They can get one-on-one out here, which it looks like it's going to be.
You wouldn't do that.
Oh, yes, I would.
It's Tony Nathan. And he's got the first down. As he takes it all the way to the USC 46-yard line, and he got a big block from Jim Bunch, the junior tackle out of Mechanicsville, Pennsylvania.
Goodlake made a good fake to the fullback here. Well, it didn't make that good a fake, but the lineman thought the fullback had the ball. Nathan broke it to the outside. There was no containment. and he made the first down without any difficulty.
Speaking of Pennsylvania and Alabama, a group from Bridgeport, Pennsylvania, they call themselves Bama Boosters. I'll tell you about after this play. First down for the Tide. Rutledge turns around to throw, going down the middle. He's got number 4 out there, Keith Pugh, and it is incomplete. Ronnie Lott covering for Southern California.
Boy, I'll tell you, Lott made a great play. He came in here, looked like they were going to have a long gainer. And you'll watch here, Rutledge rolls away from the action, turns, and it looks like he's got a big gainer here. And Lott comes in, goes over top, and saves a big play.
So it is second down and 10 as Lott drops off into his defensive back position. 52 defense for SC as the ball goes to Whitman, the fullback, and he is popped down right about the 45, give him a yard. But those Bridgeport, Pennsylvania Bama Boosters have been active for 12 years. 30 of them came down here last Monday. They spend the entire week and are at the ball game today. They provide a $1,000 scholarship for the University of Alabama football team. Nobody in this group ever attended Alabama. There is no connection in any way with Alabama, except they decided they were tired of everybody around them rooting for somebody, so they just got themselves together, chose Alabama to cheer for, and they've been doing it for 12 years. Rutledge going. It is intercepted, intended for Bolton on the sidelines, and it is intercepted by Lavender, number 48, Tim Lavender. That is the 3rd interception off Rutledge today. So when Jeff's streak of passes without interception collapsed last week at Missouri, stepped in here today, and he's really been burned by the Trojans.
You can see Lavender had him one-on-one here, man-to-man coverage, and he had him covered like a blanket, stepped inside and picked off Rutledge's throw. Rutledge fakes to the fullback, rolls away from the action. Bolton comes down the field, but Lavender is right there. That's tough one-on-one coverage, but he made a great play.
And it's first down SC from the 25. And the fullback, Lynn Kane, breaks it across the 30 to about the 33 and really took a pop as he went tumbling down.
Been a number of times in this ball game that Southern California has been in man-to-man coverage, one-on-one against the receivers of Alabama, and they have not been able to defeat him with any consistency. Two plays before that interception, it looked like they were going to have a big gainer, but the Trojan secondary recovered.
I won't be surprised to see Sheely back on the next series. Second down, 2. Into the middle goes Kane, and he's up across the 35. That should be Southern Cal first down with Byron Braggs or Curtis McGriff. They both work in the middle. McGriff 96 and Braggs 47, and Braggs, a sophomore out of Montgomery, at 260 right now. It is a first down for Southern Cal at the 36. 2.5 minutes to play, third quarter. Trojans lead by 3, 10-7. Butler wide left. White has it.
Doing a better job on White this half. I think that's about 5 times for about 27 yards. And that's holding him under his average.
Barry Krause got him for the second time here in the third quarter. Give him a yard, 2nd and 9. Ford is now in at tailback. White is on the sidelines talking to John Robinson. Shift the tight end Hunter to the other side. Go to the fullback, Lynn Kane. And he's to the 45, just short of the first down. E.J. Jr., the tackle.
He knifed through there that time. It looked like he might not get anything, and he turned his shoulders and spun through a very small opening and made it 3rd down and 1. He got some yardage there it didn't look like he'd get.
Kane has picked up 34 of his 6 to 7 yards in this half. Ford, first down. Southern Cal at the 48-yard line. And 1:15 to go as the clock stops to move the chains.
That's 19 first downs for the Trojans and I think only 10 for Alabama. But it's still a 10-7 ball game and anyone's contest.
Philadelphia beat the Mets twice today in the National League. Montreal beat Pittsburgh. The Phillies pick up a game and a half on the Bucks in the National League East. McDonald wants to throw it. Going for Cal Sweeney. Intercepted by Jim Bob Harris, a freshman from Athens, Georgia.
That is a great interception.
First interception for Alabama today. 44 seconds to go, third quarter.
Terrific time. Let's have a beer.
Yeah, let's have a new Schlitz Light.
There's a new taste in Schlitz Light. The taste of natural ingredients brewed into a Pilsner beer. New Schlitz Light. Still less filling with a taste that's bigger than light.
Think we won?
Well, it's not whether you win or lose.
It's the beer you choose.
Schlitz Light. Natural Pilsner beer.
You know me as Mr. Goodwrench, the professional mechanic who cares about your GM cars. But your participating GM dealer also has a Mr. Goodwrench who cares at the service write-up desk and in the parts department. We're all over the service department, just to be sure your GM car gets Mr. Goodwrench professional care.
You never had it so good.
Keep that great GM feeling
With Mr. Goodwrench.
That's us.
And genuine GM parts.
A Silverstone 150, the second Indy-type race in history to be run outside the U.S. next Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Another look at the interception as Alabama comes up with the football.
Sweeney lined up in the I-back position, went in motion. He was camouflaged there. Donald tried to go for the bomb, and you can see Jim Bob Harris comes back, dives for the ball, and makes a sensational interception.
First down, Alabama, 12-yard line. Rutley stays at quarterback, gives to Billy Jackson. He's got a couple. That's it. Time winding down now at the end of the third quarter. Ty Sperling tackle for USC. There's the young man, freshman out of Athens, Georgia, who made that interception for Alabama. And they used to say freshmen couldn't play.
They helped me when I was coaching, I'll tell you.
Second down and 8. Ball is at the 14. Oh, goodness. Big play there by Myron Lapka, number 96, as he broke through and nailed Lou Eichner on the last play of the third quarter. So Alabama will have the ball. Third and long coming up, trailing by 3.
This is one of the highest telephone microwave stations in America. Located in the Colorado Rockies. Carry your voices, data, and TV across the country. Stations like this are operating at near capacity, and the cost of building another one like this could reach well over $1 million. So instead of building more of them, Bell Laboratories and Western Electric have made many improvements which save millions of dollars. For example, this special triode helps one station do the work of 3. Even better, it costs less than $50. And we're not just using it here, but in over 2,000 stations across the country.
The Bell system, people using technology to help keep down costs and improve service, keeping your phone system the best in the world.
Sunday, women warriors are the last defense for Battlestar Galactica.
To have a championship team, you need the right combination of talents. Bankers Dozen is a winning team of bank services put together by your help bank. It's the right combination of 13 kinds of help, all for only a small monthly fee. You get a checking account, all your checks, insurance, automatic transfers, and more. Bankers Dozen from your help bank. Boy, would I like to use 13 sometime.
Hello, Mrs. Davis. I'm Amanda Brown.
Somebody still makes house calls. Alabama Power's Insulation Advisors. They can help you plan for some sensible home improvements. They'll show you how important it is to cut out energy waste. It just makes good sense to learn how to control your electricity. It can save you energy and money. Call Alabama Power for a free, sensible home improvements house call. And start bringing energy savings closer to home.
In Birmingham, this is TV6.
It'll be 3rd and long for Alabama as we go to the first play of the final quarter, with Southern California leading 10-7. Jeff Rutledge has not completed a pass since the first quarter. He's 2 for 8, 17 yards, 3 interceptions in the game. He's going to try it again. Oh. Number 81, Eric Scoggins, just flattened it.
Rutledge turned back to scramble out of it, and Scoggins was right there. He really took a lick there.
First sack of the Alabama quarterback in the game. They're tied now with Humphrey to punt out of his end zone, and Southern California has to get good field position. Butler is deep.
Had trouble kicking into the wind this way. Looks like
Trojans coming. Kick is away. Good kick into the wind this time. Hangs up. Fair catch is called, but it is good field position for Southern California. First down at the Alabama 39-yard line. And next Saturday, those are the games that you'll be seeing. Auburn was a winner today. Washington was a loser to Indiana today. But they'll be back in the Pac-10 play. And Indiana going up against Nebraska in a regional game. And North Carolina will be at Pittsburgh. A lot of fun to be had. Check your local listings for the game in your area. 39-yard line of Alabama. First down, Southern California. White. Charles White cuts it back in the middle and runs for about 7 yards. Down near the 32. They'll mark it to 33. Give him 6.
He does a beautiful job of reading the blocking. Here's the statistics at the end of the third quarter. Almost double in first downs. And the yardage, of course, almost 100 yards more for the Trojans. And net yardage, 337 to 224.
2nd and 4.
Broken play again.
McDonald's loose and gets the first down at the Alabama 25. Bobby Smith brought him down, but the young quarterback turned it around the corner and got the yardage he needed for the first.
That's when you see the linebackers are keying on the backs, and the backs take off one way. They're not aware that the quarterback is not going to throw one of the backs a toss pitch, and you get a broken play making good yardage.
Fullback Kane. Not a whole lot. Warren Lyles, 91. He's played a lot at the nose guard position today for Alabama. Freshman out of Birmingham. Give him 2. 2nd down, 8 from the 23. Kane now with 70 yards in the ball game. White, however, has 181 of the 353 total. McDonald throws it, and the pass is incomplete. Should be interference. He threw the ball at Charles White. E.J. Jr. flattened him, and it almost has to be interference.
Looks like it.
Jr. just leveled Charles.
You know, McDonald's getting a lot of time, too. It seems as if he's getting an opportunity to look around the field. There's McDonald, who rolls out to the right. White slips out to the left side, to the back side, to the right side of your screen. Now McDonald comes scrambling out, throws the ball. Let's see if we can see if contact's made before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
how about sawed in half?
Yeah.
So it'll be first down for Southern California on the interference penalty at the Alabama 22. Nose of the ball just touching the 22 stripe. Charles White to the tight side. Runs to the tackle, and he is thrown down by Jim Bob Harris, number 9.
That was a good tackle. He came in there, and you don't see White handle that way. But Jim Bob Harris is a good football player. Freshman from Athens, Georgia. 6'2" and about 185, and he's playing a super job at right halfback.
And every time you say that, you aggravate somebody at University of Georgia, because he grew up not very far from the campus.
Looks like they did all right today. They beat Clemson.
That's right. White. White Ford is in at tailback. Hand off to Lynn Kane, the fullback. Good tough run by Kane. He'll be about a yard shy of his first down with good blocking from Pat Howell, the 255-pound senior guard from Fresno, California.
Doesn't look like he's getting that much yardage, but it just seems to bleed yard after yard.
I'll tell you one thing, that Trojan offensive front comes off the snap of that ball with authority.
Well, they're so big. Of course, Robinson was concerned because they hadn't gelled together in the first two games, but certainly in comparing this game of a year ago, they're moving much better. They're moving the ball in the running game.
Time is out on the field. 11:40 to play in the game, and Southern Cal leads it 10-7.
Hey, if you want a motor oil that's been tested for protection and mileage too, Texaco's got just the oil for you. Haviland Super Premium from Texaco. Haviland was tested in state trooper cars for over 4 million miles without a single oil-related failure. And in a test against a leading 10W40 oil advertising extra gasoline mileage, Haviland couldn't be beat. So get the oil that's been trooper tested and mileage tested. Get Haviland Super Premium from Texaco.
How good is the investment information at your investment firm? Maybe it depends on the firm.
I think the market analysis group at our firm is top.
We have research in municipal bonds. We have it in corporate bonds, tax shelters.
We have access to opinions on over 1,000 securities within 2 minutes.
Who offers this kind of in-depth investment information? You know who. Sure, there are lots of investment firms, but there's only one, Merrill Lynch.
Off in the distance over Birmingham, there are 5 hot air balloons soaring around. This morning when I got up quite early, I saw one of those great big orange things rising up out of the trees. I was looking for a hole to get into. White foam hurdles over the top, and one of the officials goes down onto the pile of third down, and he just sailed over the top to get the first down inside the 10-yard line. The official is all right.
You couldn't have played any better defense. Alabama's in great position. Watch White just go over top. Look at this. Look at this. Keeps his balance, almost loses the ball there.
Been taking Sam Bam lessons.
Oh, and they got the umpire put to bed there.
White now has 191 yards on 25 carries. First and goal to go. Southern Cal at the Alabama 7-yard line. McDonald has Williams, and it's touchdown.
That's a good call. Good call. Alabama's looking for the run, and they came right out and threw the ball on first down.
Lynn Kane, the Southern Cal fullback, is down on the field, shaken up on that play as the Trojans go in for 6. The extra point try, if it's successful, will make it a 10-point edge. So they work now on Lynn Kane.
See here, he's in a tight formation, which implies run. And he just rolls out to the right, and Kevin Williams, who's a real burner anyway, he's running 9.400. He's wide open here, and Alabama was defensing the run, which I probably would have been doing the same thing on first down at that position in the field. It was a good call.
He almost falls down, though, Harry. You see that he almost lost his footing.
Right, he was much leaning here. There's the throw. There's another angle. Look, right here gets on his left foot there and almost slips, keeps his balance, and he's in the end zone for a score.
Lynn Kane coming off the field with the team doctors, and another look at that play.
Again, McDonald just rolling out. Here's rolling to his right, throwing with his left, which I've said a number of occasions that that's the more difficult of the throws.
The extra point try by Frank Jordan is good. And so with 11:15 to play in the game, Southern California leads 17-7.
The day is done.
Come in, chilly tonight. You looking good.
To let it go. It's the moment to unwind.
Welcome home.
So just say bud.
Say bud.
And pour the king of beers and settle back and please yourself.
Hey, thanks.
How'd it go today?
So far, so good.
One day each summer, practically every town in America celebrates its heritage in a uniquely American way. The 4th of July parade, but without insurance to protect the people who make everything from uniforms and instruments to flags and franks.
the 4th of July might look like any other summer day. Crum & Forster, working with more than 9,000 independent insurance agents and brokers, helping insure the American way of life.
A charter member of the SEC, the University of Alabama blends a balanced program of tennis, golf, baseball, and swimming with football into a sound academic program. A prime factor for the successful athletic programs within the SEC is that conference policy is set by the presidents of the 10 universities.
Eichner and Nathan are deep to accept Rob Kerr's kickoff as USC takes it 39 yards in 7 plays to lead 17-7 with 11:15 to play in the game. When it goes bad, it goes bad.
Sure does.
Eichner and Nathan didn't get their act together, and Alabama now covers the ball, and they'll have to go to work from about the 7-yard line, first down, trailing by 10.
They've had tough field position in this half, particularly the last 2 or 3 possessions.
They've not been successful through the air. Rutledge is out there, 2 for 8, 17 yards, and 3 interceptions so far in the game. A year ago in Los Angeles, Southern California, remember, had a 15-game win streak snapped by Alabama and lost first place in the polls. Today, coming into this one, Alabama was number 1 and had the nation's longest win streak. From the 7, first down, tied. Rutledge puts it up, and the pass is tipped at the line of scrimmage and over the hands of Rick Neal, the tight end.
Is wide open. Come out of that poor field position. They've been out around the 20-yard line, which gives them a little breathing room.
Now becomes a question as who ascends to the top spot. Oklahoma, they ran their legs off today and against Rice. So I imagine the Sooners will be in a pretty good position to take first place in the national polls this week. Down he goes. Scoggins making the tackle on Nathan as Rutledge and Nathan ran together. And the loss is back to near the 2-yard line. And now the 77,000 plus here at Legion Field are sort of awestruck at what the Southern California Trojans are doing to the Crimson Tide.
Well, the Alabama's contributed to that. Came back on a little drop play, and quarterback runs into the halfback. You can't go very many places. And then, of course, the other pass, when he was open, they didn't execute it.
Nathan's gained only 31 yards so far. Out of the end zone, swing it out to Tony.
Wow.
Back to the original line of scrimmage, and that'll do it. It'll bring up a 4th down for Alabama, and SC will get the ball one more time, and again, we'll get good field position.
There was some contact in there that time, Keith. Woo.
Humphrey out of the end zone to punt. Butler deep for SC.
A little better one there.
Yep. Lot back, fair catch call. It'll be Southern California owning the football, first down at the Alabama 46-yard line on a 39-yard punt. That's the action for next week. The Silverstone 150 from Silverstone, England. It'll come via satellite, same-day coverage. Second time in history that we've had an Indy-type car race outside the United States, the other being in Japan. And we'll also have the United States Gymnastics World Team Trials. ABC's Wide World of Sports next Saturday. You know something? We haven't had a single punt return today by either team. Yet. First down, Trojans. They lead by 10. McDonald gives it to Charles White. He's looking for 200 yards today, and he's closing in on it. If he goes down to the 41, that's 5 more. And that should give him 196, and it does, according to our statistician, Mike Swanson. Jeff Rutledge, who has been beleaguered today, the Alabama quarterback.
Alabama needs a break here to get the ball back, get back in this ball game. The clock is running at 9:24. That's a lot of time, but they need the ball and they need field position.
2nd and 5 from the 41 of Alabama. Goes to the fullback, Glenn Kane. Kane is grabbed by Warren Lyles and Marty Lyons. He gets 1 yard. It's going to bring up 3rd and 4. SC broke on top in the first quarter with a 40-yard run by Charles White to take a 7-0 lead. Jordan hit a field goal to make it 10-0 halftime. Ogilvy ran 41 to make it 10-7. And then Williams put a 6-yard pass from McDonald to make it 17-7. And that's where we are now in the fourth quarter.
Well, they got a blitz on him.
McDonald puts it up, and it is caught by Williams, went right through the hands of McNeil, and it's a touchdown, USC.
I can't believe that. Wow, looked like an interception.
Look what I found, touchdown for little Kevin Williams.
McDonald rolls out to his left, and it looks like Don McNeil has a perfect interception here. He must have misjudged it. Here he is right here, the ball, and he jumped too soon. I think he jumped just a tad too soon and went right through his hands, and that's the kind that you don't see very often.
The kick is up, the kick is good, and now all of a sudden it is USC 24, Alabama 7, and some of the folks get up and start the long ride home.
Many auto service centers tell you to come back if something they did isn't right. But what if you're traveling? Your Goodyear service store gives you a written document. It says if you have a problem more than 50 miles from the store that did the work, you can go into any one of more than 1,500 Goodyear service stores, and they'll redo it with no charge for 90 days or 3,000 miles, whichever comes first. The Goodyear promise, wherever you go.
You can't buy my eye, you can't buy my technique, but you can buy my camera, the Olympus OM1.
You can't buy my instincts, but you can buy my camera, the Olympus OM1, a third smaller and lighter than those clumsy old single-lens reflexes.
In fact, more Olympus OM1s have been sold than any other compact SLR. It may be news to you, but the OM1 is #1.
I may not have their eye, but now I have their camera.
Coming soon, baseball's championship series, up close and personal the ABC way.
Nathan and Eichner deep in the end zone. They've been there quite a few times today, accepting USC kicks. Trojans lead 24-7 with 8:34 to play in the game as Rob Kerr hits it high, and it'll go to the end zone for Nathan. He can't get it back any farther than the 14-yard line as Jeff Metter comes down and makes the tackle.
Oh, they get a lot of good hang time on the ball. It's up in the air a long time, and they get terrific coverage.
UCLA lost today to Kansas in a stunning upset. There's another big ball game in that Pac-10. It'll be played later today. Washington State and Arizona State in Spokane. Kevin Williams' story today, and he had to be as surprised as anybody to have just come away with 6 points. As Rutledge options down the line for Tony Nathan. Turns the corner, gets the first down. As Nathan running hard and running through the 25 to about the 27 with Ogilvy throwing a key block for him. The top 10 teams today fared this way, at least those who have completed their ball games, with Oklahoma winning in a rout over Rice 66-7. Arkansas, ranked third, defeated Oklahoma State in a bit of a struggle, 19-7, with Michigan beating Notre Dame 28-14. Penn State had to fight for their lives to get by SMU 26-21. UCLA, as we noted, upset by Kansas today, so they're bound to fall well back in the rankings. And Pitt didn't have it easy against the Temple Owls either. Ninth-ranked Pitt finally pulled it out.
They must be a pretty good football team. They've played two good teams, Penn State and Pitt, giving them all they wanted.
Right. Ohio State winning, Maryland winning. Time is out on the field. We have exactly 8 minutes and 17 seconds to play in this ball game. Alabama's last 4 possessions, as you look at scores out of the Ivy League, they've had it on their 12 twice, on their 7 once. In fact, they've had it on their 12-yard line 3 times in their last 4 possessions.
They really have.
It's a tough place to work.
It really is. It's tough. You're just fighting an uphill battle. You just can't get anything going.
But it's now first down Alabama at their own 26. Rutledge. Outside it goes to Nathan. And Tony Nathan now beginning to show some moves. Perhaps USC's defense relaxing a little bit with a 17-point lead. Ronnie Lott made that last stop.
Continue to make yardage on the outside option. Rutledge fakes the ball to the fullback, comes down the line, gets the commitment, deals the ball off with a lead blocker, and they have picked up 2 first downs. Well, they're just shy of 1 here.
Nathan's total yardage beginning to add up now. He has 53 in the ball game on 11 carries, but he's got 22 of those yards on his last 3 carries. Second down and about a yard tied. Rutledge want to go big here on second and short. Goes over the middle. Tim Travis can't hold it. Travis was open. The pass was thrown hard, and it was thrown low. And Tim couldn't hang on.
He was really open on the play. This comes down the field. They made a good run action fake to the inside to hold the linebackers. Travis gets down into the secondary. Rutledge really delivers the ball hard here. It's a little low. He's got it in his hands. Then it comes away as he falls, and he loses what would have been a real great game.
And time is called. Travis shaken up on the play. 8:03 to go in the game.
Trucks, should you own them or lease them? Well, if you lease trucks from Ryder, we can lower your fuel costs. We can eliminate breakdown costs. And because it costs less to keep trucks running than to pay for repairs, we can even lower your maintenance costs. And we've proven it. We've proven to over 3,000 customers that a Ryder lease makes good business sense. So call Ryder about a full-service truck lease, and let us prove it to you, too.
If your engine isn't starting on cue, put in a fresh set of Champion spark plugs at least once a year. Champion and your engine can make beautiful music together. You can't buy a better plug.
Third down and less than a yard for the first down for Alabama at the 31. Joe Jones carries it up over right guard and gets the first down after the 42. So Alabama down by 17, and we move inside. 8 minutes to play in the ball game. And the Bear is on the prowl.
The Trojans elected not to go into a goal line defense with man coverage, just to protect their lead, and go ahead and give them the first down, try to make them go the hard way, eat up the clock.
Rutledge to throw it, gets his pass away. The pass is complete to Bart Trout, tight end, freshman out of Birmingham. That'll be another tied first down. Last time these two teams played here in Birmingham was 1970. The Trojans won 42-21. If you look at the play again, and this youngster Croc went way up in the air to get it.
He made a great catch here. Just a freshman. Throw is there. Good coverage, too. He's right on top of him. But Croc holds on to the ball.
At the SC 41, Rutledge goes over the middle. Crowd again. He's on his way. It's a touchdown. Try for extra point by McElroy is good. So the young freshman, Bart Trout, 6'3", 225-pounder from Birmingham, Alabama, makes 2 catches in a row. One of them he went way up to get it. This one he broke over the middle. The pass was on the money, and he tumbled it into the end zone.
Throwback pattern. He broke right over the middle. Rutledge was looking for a sideline on a throwback, but he found him in the middle with no one around. And there is the second touchdown for the Crimson Tide. Don't ever count them out. A lot of time left.
7 minutes and 10 seconds to play in the game as we see it one more time.
Well, we'll see the strategy going here. We'll see whether or not Robinson deploys his receiving team in an anticipation of an onside kick, and whether or not Fairfields has a lot of time with 7-10 to go to kick it down, and field position is more important to it.
The last time Alabama lost a football game here at Legion Field was 1975, a game that we did on a Monday night when Tony Galbraith and the Missouri Tigers beat them.
Yeah.
Going off 12 straight wins.
One thing that might influence this decision is the fact that Alabama still has 3 timeouts left, where USC only has 1.
All right, let's see what would happen here on our onside kick or a straightaway kick.
We're deploying in anticipation of an onside kick.
Got a lot of receivers and backs up on the front to receive it. It is an onside. It bounces up in the air and bounces right into the hands of number 43, Kenny Moore. And Moore controls it, and SC gets the ball first down at their own 45.
That's not the kind of bounce you want on that onside kick. It took a big handle on it. I mean, it took a big bounce, and it was easy to field. You want those kind that are squibbing down along the ground.
All right, let's see what Alabama's defense can do now about taking the ball away from Southern Cal if they are to get back in the hunt. Charles White, the deep man. Then Kane, the fullback, out of the eye. It's White. And he is popped by E.J. Jr. at the 45. Gets 1 yard, 2nd and 9 coming.
Had a stun on the weak side there where the split end was. E.J. Jr. just closed down tight inside. The tackle looped to the outside, and it worked perfectly because Trojans were trying to go up the middle.
White now with 197 yards in the ball game. Offensive and defensive players of the game, each receiving for their university's general scholarship fund $1,000 from Chevrolet. White with the ball, not much room, back none, lost a yard, back to the 45. Wingo and Lyons made the stop.
Well, it'll be interesting to see whether or not Robinson wants to put the ball in the air, try to maintain possession here, keep the ball away from Alabama, or whether he's willing to just to run the ball and punt it away and make them go the long, hard way. They've got 10 points to deal with.
And you've got 6:05 to play in the game. 3rd down and just about 10.
Put it up. Uh-oh.
The Alabama defense responds. It is Jim Bob Harris again.
A flag piling on, I think.
Penalty flag down. Might very well be a late hit involved here.
I think it's against the Trojans.
Well, let's see. That young freshman has suddenly jumped into the picture. In fact, 2 freshmen, Kraut and Harris, for Alabama today in the second half. It's going against SC. Pete Williams, a good official, will walk it off.
Let's see what happens here. McDonald is finally brought down. And I think a Trojan comes in here and blocks late, I believe.
Clipping.
Let's see if we get him.
Clipping. Well, he was trying to avoid him as he came falling down, so I can see why they wouldn't call that a late hit. But there was a clip against USC, and the ball goes back to the 22. It's 3rd down. They've got to go all the way to the Alabama 45 for the first down. 33 they need. The crowd is roaring, and McDonald turns, looks to the referee, and the referee says to the crowd, "Y'all hush a little."
One thing about it is the fans, the home fans, do not want to hurt their own football team. And, of course, consecutive 5-yard penalties after the second warning can be very costly to the home ball club.
5:48 to play in the ball game. Harris is out. Tucker is back. Secondary for Alabama. Kane popped the fullback over the left side. Len Kane runs for about 7 yards. Gary De Niro, sophomore from Youngstown, Ohio, makes the stop for Alabama. And now with the wind at his back, Marty King gets the call to punt.
Well, it might help him here to get a better punt off from a standpoint of average. He needs a good punt here to make Alabama go the long way.
If Nathan should break one here and go all the way, I'm afraid this old place might fall down.
They got the return set up, it looks like. Well, it's got it low. It's a returnable kind.
Alabama has the football at the 43-yard line, a 42-yard punt and a 15-yard return. If he had one more buddy to help him, he might have gone.
That came within an eyelash. You almost called it there, Keith. Boy, just another block or so. There he puts a move on, and he avoids two tacklers, comes back to the outside, and just by a shirt tail, I guess, you might say, the Trojans save a long run back.
Eric Scoggins made the play for USC. First down, Alabama, just beyond the 43. 5 minutes to play. Nathan has it. Back to Rutledge. Wants to throw it. Throws short. Pass is caught by Major Ogilvy. He's thrown out of bounds short of a first down. Boy, that ball is flying around for a little bit of distance, wasn't it?
Well, the principal receiver was a split man. He was not open. He was covered well by Lavender. And he took his secondary receiver and got the 7 yards rather than the negative yardage.
That's a play that Jim Owens used back in his Rose Bowl team days at Washington when he had Slorette.
That's exactly right.
Second down and 7. Second down and 3, rather. Rutledge, a lot of time. Then that quickly it is gone. But the SC defensive secondary locked up all of the people. Rather than risk it, Jeff ate it. Ray Peters playing the nose guard with Myron Lapka, pinched in and got it.
Big third down coming up here. Alabama needs a first down. Maintain possession of the ball.
Rutledge in the fourth quarter has come back in his performance. He's 4 out of 6 for 68 and a touchdown. 4:15 to play. 3rd and 6. Pass is off. Pass is caught. It is complete to Keith Pugh from Evergreen, Alabama, and it's a first down at the Southern Cal 32, 20 yards on the play.
Big play, big play. Guarantee you. Keith Pugh out here, flank. Rutledge comes back out of the backfield. Now he throws an out pattern. It was just thrown perfectly away from the defender, and of course he makes a great catch on it.
Carter Hartwig did just about all he could do, defend on the play.
Couldn't have been in a better position.
Rutledge now 105 yards on 7 completions. From the 32 of USC, Rutledge better hurry. Gets away from the pressure, throws, the pass is incomplete, intended for Bart Kraut. And it was Larry McGrew, number 57, that came pouring in.
It appears that Rutledge is getting plenty of time to throw the ball. And when you get plenty of time, he may find somebody again, get back on this board. There's only, well, there's still 4 minutes, and that is ample time. The last drive they had, they scored in 1 minute and 24 seconds.
Charlie Moses has come in at the linebacking position now, replacing McGrew. He's a senior out of Ontario. Exactly 4 minutes to play in the game. This time Alabama works out of the eye. Protection is good for Rutledge. He has to look a long time, but finally finds Pugh on another clutch catch. First down at the Trojan 18-yard line.
Rutledge is having a hot hand, but they're giving him good protection. You can see he's got plenty of blocking. Throws the ball, and it just deflected off of Dennis Johnson's hands. And he was mad at himself. He was down there beating the turf because he failed to grab the ball or deflected enough so it wouldn't be completed.
Ball is right in between the 18 and 19-yard stripes. And we've got a timeout called by Alabama. That is the first one they've spent in the second half with 3:35 to play in the game.
The big news for 79 is from Chevrolet. The new Chevy Monza 2+2 hatchback. It's more car for less money and a lot more kicks. Now, standard equipment includes tinted glass, AM radio, shift console, sports steering wheel, white striped tires, body side molding, bucket seats, carpeting, a hatchback, and more. All standard And all for less than what last year's Chevy Monza 2+2 would have cost with the same equipment. That's more car, more kicks for less money. New Chevy Monza.
Here's 100 years of tradition coming at you.
Here comes the king. Here comes the king. Here comes the big number one. Here comes the king. But why the beer? The king is second to none. When you say Bud, the king is coming. Let's hear the call. When you say Bud, you said it all. When you say Bud, you said it all. Here comes the king.
3:35 to play. USC leading by 10. Alabama has the ball. First down just inside the USC 19-yard line. Rutledge to Nathan. He gets corner. He takes it inside the 15. The ball comes loose, and Southern California comes up with it. Nathan was really busted. Johnson and Lepka were there, and Tony turned it loose, and the Trojans come up with it. That's the 4th turnover.
And I mean, they had leverage at the corner. Rutledge fakes the ball, deals it off to Nathan, and he's got a lot of running room. Looked like he might want him to throw the ball there for a minute, and then he elected to take off with it.
He never put it away.
He had the ball loose. Had the ball loose, he never put it away. Those things are going to happen every time.
I still haven't seen the number of the fellow that came up with it for Southern Cal. At 3:26 to play in a game now. Lynn Kane. It's Ronnie Lott who recovered the fumble. Ronnie Lott, number 42. So now the Trojans getting a big gain off that first down move by Kane. Got 5 yards. Moved from the 12 to the 17. There's Tony.
Oh, he really feels bad. He was on the move, too.
Yep.
He had plenty of time.
Got to tuck that thing away, though, when there are 2 people ready to take you apart. Charles White dives over the middle, close to the 20. He may be close to his 200 yards. If he gets 3 here, he's got 200. They don't give it to it. Do they? Nope. Ball is put down at the 19, so at 199 or 98.
Wow. How many carries is that? 29? Look at the durability of that guy.
He does have 200. He does have his 200, according to the officials report. White forward this time. Marty Lyons brings it down at the line of scrimmage.
Didn't make it.
Jim Bunch, number 63.
Alabama get that ball back.
There's Kraut. Here's a look at Lyons on the defensive play, forcing USC to punt.
Comes right on down the line, pursues, and really makes a tackle. He stops White, and they drive him back, keep him from getting, and there goes the ball.
4th down and 2. The Trojans will kick. Marty King with 1:40 to play.
Turn on again. Oh, that's a big one. That's a big one.
Nathan all the way back to his 20-yard line.
Look at this. Oh!
Fumbled it again. And the Trojans have it. And that should do it. Number 43, Kenny Moore, out of San Fernando, California, made the play.
Really a tough break for Nathan. He has played so well.
5 turnovers for Alabama.
And it doesn't look like we're going to win today, but look, we got about 10 games left, and it's not impossible to keep that number 1 spot.
There was a 58-yard punt by Marty King, and it came at a very good time for USC. The ball is near the 45. Tony is heartbroken. Now the Trojans have to eat up 1:25 on the clock, and they have won a second successive time in Birmingham. There are no USC-Alabama games scheduled for the future. There are games scheduled for young men to play who have not yet been born. Illegal procedure call here against USC, but there are no USC-Alabama games on those future schedules. The offensive player of today's ball game, I think, probably is very obvious to all of you. It would have to be the USC tailback, Charles White, who ran for 200 yards on this afternoon, including a touchdown.
No argument for me, I'll tell you that. He's a great back.
The defensive player is a push and shove contest because there have been a lot of people out there for Southern California today who have played very well. Herb Ward, for example, had 2 interceptions in the early going of the ball game. A minute 17 to play as McDonald takes the snap, steps back and sits down on it. And I think the vote goes to Scoggins, that outside linebacker who played so very, very well.
It's a good choice. I think he played a fine football game. As a matter of fact, you've got to give credit to the entire Trojan defense. I think they're much faster than they were a year ago, and they demonstrated it today.
One of the things that impresses me about Scoggins' era is the fact that USC came in here knowing full well that Gary Cobb, their most experienced outside linebacker, would not be available to them. And they put an enormous amount of pressure on Chip Banks, the freshman, and Scoggins, who had moved into the job when Cobb went down, didn't respond and had a heck of a ball game.
Responded well. He played an outstanding game, and it's ironic that these two teams playing a year ago with everything reversed as far as who was number 1 and who was number 7 and 8, and on the traveling to the opposition's field, both of them have won on the road. It's a remarkable game.
1:12 remaining in the ball game, and Alabama with 1 timeout remaining as USC leads by a score of 24-14. One more snap, and now Alabama will have to spend its last timeout.
Well, it's been quite a football game. And the one thing that the Trojans could not do a year ago was move the ball consistently on the ground. They were able to do this afternoon against the Crimson Tide.
Well, the clock is running. Alabama has not spent its time out. USC, I'm sure, is willing to take a 5-yard penalty for delay of the game here, just to run off as many seconds as possible, and that's the regional telecast schedule coming up next week. So pick the game in your area and check your local listings for the time and the game. And now the time is called with 34 seconds. 34. To play in the game. So Alabama, undefeated, having defeated Nebraska and Missouri on top of the polls, will tumble. Oklahoma would seem the apparent successor to the throne room of the national polls in this coming week after their big romp. But this ball club from Los Angeles, the Southern California Trojans, have to be moved up somewhere in that pecking order too. Well, what a long, hard day it's been for the Tide.
It's also a long season. A lot of things can happen. Oh, touchdown.
Junior picks it up.
Oh,
no, he missed it. The Trojans come back and cover it. It was blocked. They sent 10, and somebody got it. It might have been Junior that got it.
Let's see, he takes the stepping with his right foot. Oh, this is a great block.
McNeil, isn't it? Yeah, Don McNeil comes in, cornerback.
But the ball seemed to be kicked low where he had an opportunity to get his hands on it. Great block.
25 seconds to play. Alabama down at the Trojan 17. Rutledge goes over the middle for Bolton, and it's off his fingertips just that much too high. Just a fraction too high, or it would have been a touchdown because he was open.
Well, you can see anything can happen. Here it is, 20 seconds. Still capable of scoring and onside kicking and throwing a bomb. You never know until that last second is off the clock.
Rutledge looks at Bolton, looks for Pugh, throws it short, and throws it right into the hands of Ronnie Lott or Dennis Smith. It's Dennis Smith, 49. So the interception. And there goes Alabama's last chance. That's a 4th interception. The Trojans had 5 last week, 4 this week. That's 9 in 2 weeks. My goodness, that defensive bunch got something to talk about, don't they?
Sometimes you don't get 9 in an entire season.
That's right.
You get 9 in 2 games.
12 seconds remaining to play in the ball game. 12. And Southern California has won the ball game. It'll tick off now, and a great many of this record crowd of more than 77,313 as the Trojans exult in victory. Johnny Robinson gets a ride. Bear Bryant starts the slow, laborious walk across the field to shake his hand. Well, Bear'd be the first man in town to tell you that his football team took a whipping today.
Well, they made
At one time, imported oil was no problem to America. Today, we import over 45% of our oil. If our supplies are ever cut off again, it could affect your driving, your heating, your job. Texaco believes conservation must be increased, alternate energy sources developed, exploration and production stepped up. Because none of us want to be caught over a barrel. At Texaco, we're working to keep your trust.
You're the one. You keep coming back. There's something about a Big Mac that keeps you coming back. Keeps you coming back to that Big Mac. Is it two all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce and cheese, or the pickles and onions on a bun? Could it be those sesame seeds at McDonald's? We do it all for you.
Once again, our final score, Southern California 24, Alabama 14. We'll have a new #1 next week. Travel arrangements made through and promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United built the largest airline in the free world around you. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.
Tonight, it's the new season premiere of Carter Country. Then,
Welcome to the Bear Bryant Show. We're glad you could join our review of the exciting action of your University of Alabama's Crimson Tide football. The Bear Bryant Show is brought to you by Golden Flake Snacks, the only chips with Southern Fried Crunch, Coca-Cola, Coke adds life to football and fun, and the Southern Bank Corporation and its affiliates throughout Alabama.
Now let's take a look at this week's game, Alabama versus Southern California, with comments by Coach Paul Bear Bryant and me, Charlie Thornton.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome once again to the Bear Bryant Show, brought to you by Ice Cold Coca-Cola, by the Banker's Dozen, Southern Bank Corporation, of course, by Golden Flake. We've got a new product this week, Coach, barbecued flavored potato chips, the dip style. So we'll see how you over it. Oh, Coach, I've got a lot of strength today. Well, Coach, it was Southern California 24, Alabama 14, Saturday afternoon at Legion Field, and I hope Southern Cal was as good as they look, because they really look good, Coach.
Well, it's certainly a beautiful day and beautiful Legion Field, a full house. We had national television exposure, probably, I don't know how many million people were watching, and it was a great setup for a big win, and Southern Cal had that. And I'm sure they all very happy about it, and I think they richly deserved it. You know, they're a lot better than I thought they were before the game, and I don't really know how good they are. I'm not an expert to start with, but they will be good before this year's out. And this White played tailback for him. I don't recall, unless it was Rogers in Nebraska, ever playing against anyone any better than he was. But the whole thing comes down to our people being disappointed, and I'm disappointed. Everybody's disappointed. Players are disappointed. But when you stop and think about it, I've heard a lot of this business about records and Bear Bryant and this, that, and the other. You can charge all that to me because they out-recruited us, they out-taught us, they out-molded them the way they wanted to, they had us out-prepared, and they outplayed us. And that's what I'm supposed to do. So I assume that full responsibility. I get it anyway, but I should, because that's the way football is, or the way it is at Alabama anyway. But I want to say on the other hand, I've said many times, and I want to repeat it, that I think we have a great bunch of youngsters. I think they have class. I think they're good people. I I think they'll come back. If they have the type class I think they do, they will come back. I don't know. I thought and said all along that we should improve every week, or if we did improve every week, we'd be a fine football team in November. Well, honestly, I don't think we've improved much since the Nebraska game. Maybe we have. But I still think that if we go come back and don't have too many injuries and improve every week, we can have a fine football team. I don't really know about our injuries yesterday. I've seen the film. I don't know really who played well, but I think everyone played hard. We made mistakes. We did everything in the book that you don't win with. We did everything a good team don't do. There again, when you make mistakes, that's coaching, because you're supposed to coach them not to make mistakes. You're supposed to coach them how to hold a football. You're not supposed to fumble. You're supposed to coach them when to throw it and not to throw it to. And nobody goes out there and does it and makes a mistake on purpose. And we had a couple of penalties. That's the worst thing you can do in football. We had those. And there again, that comes back to coaching. If you teach them properly and sell them on it, and they do it and they believe you, well, we won't get penalties. But the big thing is no point in crying over the game. We're going to try to profit by the game. We're going to try to use it as a stepping stone. And I hope our players, I haven't talked with them yet, but I hope they feel the same way about it, because we have some athletes and we have some youngsters coming along, and second-guessing myself, I wish I'd have played them more. When the second bunch offensively yesterday was moving the ball down there, and we changed the quarter, and I put the first bunch back in, and they didn't get it over. Well, I was thinking of Missouri. We had the second bunch in there, and we go down and don't get it over, but they at least get a field goal. So I didn't play enough people, and because if I had to, it had more experience. And but I feel that we'll get better. And the one in particular I didn't play enough was Stedman Shealy, because he needed to work. I'm not saying that Jeff didn't play well. He did, but Stedman should have been playing in there some and resting Jeff. And I'm going to tell Stedman that myself. But anyway, it's gone, and we didn't do ourselves any good. Everybody in the nation was watching us, and I knew we weren't a #1 football team, and I just hoping that we could be, and we still could be. We still could be if we have enough to us, and if it means enough to us, we still could be if we don't have too many injuries. And Charlie, about the only good thing I know I'd come out of this, that we've never had coverage here before from New York. We have Associated Press coverage here today from New York. Herschel, nice to have you.
Coach, we'll be
Who'd
back.
you vote for?
He didn't get a vote, Coach.
Oh, he didn't.
We'll be back with the first quarter of action following this important message from one of our sponsors.
We won the toss, so I'd never like to do that, and we had to receive because we don't want to give them the ball extra time of taking the win. Tony Nathan gets a real nice run back here. Tony, one of our offensive captains of the day. Rick Neal was one of the other offensive guys. Bingo, and that takes a real athlete. Right out in the open field to tackle a man like that. He put it right in the middle, put his headgear right in the middle of him.
Took it 3 yards deep in the end zone, returned it out to 42.
That's a good blocking on him. It was excellent running, too.
There's Steve Whitman boarding off one.
I said Rick and Tony, the offensive captain, Marty Lyons, and Rick Gilligan was the defensive captain. Look at that, right in the middle, and Tony's a good back, too. And John Morrow was our kicking captain. So full house backfield this time. We ran a reverse on the opening play, and we didn't fool anybody. Almost get someone killed. That's Bolton, Bruce Bolton running the football. We ran that play against Missouri and got 25 yards out of it. But they were, I think we should have waited, really. They come to draw play to the fullback, and they don't fool anybody there again, and we were very lucky to come up with a football. That's Steve Whitman running the football. Going in motion down to Tony Nathan. Jeff's back to pass. Very fine pass to Tony Nathan. It was a 3-man out, a flood pattern, we call it.
You got 12 yards and a first down.
First down now. Full out backfield again. Whitman in there, run the belly play. And they gang tackle well. I'll tell you, we gang tackle well, too. We couldn't get to them fast enough, but there was a great effort on our gang tackling. Trap play with Whitman running it. Mike Brock was a trapper. Come to motion again. Both ends are out now. We're trying to loosen them up, make them play a little more of the field. And of course, they really do you that way. Pass to Tony Nathan, and I don't think he gets the first down. They put men in motion, carry them all around, scatter them over the field, and a la John McKay used to do that, and they'd come back and run the same play, run the pick or the pitch. And Jeff Rutledge, beautiful pass, just didn't get quite enough hit. Of course, on the other hand, they played very well by Southern Cal people. I want to try to identify them. I don't know them. I should. So we're going to spread punt now. Bear Smith snapping it back. Woody Humphries is kicking. Woody didn't have a good day. Last week he averaged 47 yards. I think this week about 32. So they're in business now. Here they shift the end over the other side, put a man in motion out. They scatter you around, make you change your defense. There he goes back in motion.
Coach, their quarterback had to have played a good ball game yesterday.
I thought their quarterback did an excellent job. I thought their quarterback did an excellent job with audibles at the line. He'd wait till we move around, but he was going to, I thought, our weakness nearly every time, because if we put a blitz on, well, he'd go the other way. So
said after
he
the
did
game
a real
he called,
fine job.
Said after the game he called either a pass or a run.
That was great blocking there with their tight end and flanker back. They have an excellent tight end. He's got number 85 there.
It's White, Charlie White again.
It's something to see. We gang tackling too.
B.J. Jr.
Marty
Krause. Marty Lyons in on it.
Barry. Man in motion. They used a lot of motion. Had him open then. The thing about it, when you cover the man out of the backfield with a linebacker and in like we were there, and he gets a step on you, you got his whip. And their pass protection, I thought, was excellent. Beautiful pass there.
Ricky Tucker making the tackle.
Ricky's a junior.
Here comes student body right.
Student body right with everybody pulling. They had two tight ends and everybody pulling, and finally the Barry leg gets a hold of him, and some old folks come and help him out. We run the sweep. We don't run it like, we tried to run it like that. McKay gave it to me years ago. That was a good, very fine executed play there. You couldn't see it all. The inside man ran a deep out, and he entertained two defenders down there, and the end had the linebacker on. He cut right back across. They're getting close now, of course.
We're on our left.
On our 11, the first time they've had the football, and that's not a very good way for us to start a ball game.
And here comes the fumble play, and Alabama's going to recover it.
Barry Crowd, I think he really fumbled it ahead, but Barry made him in there, and I don't know who recovered. I'm not sure, but what's the little back dive in?
Murray Leg got it.
Murray got it?
Yes.
Murray's a senior. He's from Birmingham here. So we backed up there now. Tony going in motion.
Major Ogilvie on the carry.
Major had a real good day. Major's a fine football player. He made one of the finest blocks. And of course, his running was excellent. And we ran that play there several times during the day. Matter of fact, Ogilvie ran it for a touchdown, but we were missing our timing. We were poor on it. We missed the hole a couple of times.
Third down, we go for the bomb.
And he almost got hit. Somebody came from the outside and almost hit Jeff before he get rid of the football. But Keith Pugh pretty well covered back there. However, Keith had two fine catches during the game. One was a brilliant catch. So we kick out now. Barry Smith did the snapping. Our kicking team's in there.
The first play, we're going to see Charlie White go all the way for a touchdown, Coach.
Oh, yeah, you're going to see a lot of folks. There's that tight end knocked our end back 7 yards. I'm bragging on that tight end. And we get tangled up down there, and he tangled us up and waltzes in with ease.
40-yard touchdown.
That is some kind of running. We used to think you made a 40-yard started running on our team. You've done something. We had a long run last week, another one to do this week. So they go out in front now, 7-zip. They're kicking off into the wind. They did a pretty good job, too, I'll tell you. So we take over on the 20. Stedman Shealy's in there now. We drive them right on down. We got
Jackson got 5 on the play.
McComb is in there. That's Lou Eichner running the football. Tim Travis down there blocking for him.
Gain of 33.
End of the first quarter, Alabama, oh no. USC 7, Alabama zip.
Coach, you know, Southern California, all their writers and all were talking about what a fired-up ball game they played yesterday. Then obviously Coach Robinson had done a real good job of getting them ready for it.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think John's an excellent coach. I don't know him well. You know, in football, you kind of know everybody, and I've never been around him much, but I have great respect for him, and he was fired up himself. As a matter of fact, I talked with him just a minute before the game, and I talked with him after, congratulated him after the game, and I've been that way many times, particularly when I was young. He was so happy, he was almost jumping, and I don't blame him, but I'd be jumping too. And I predicted anyone that beats them, if they get 2 or 3 more games on the belt, I don't know their schedule, but he'll have them ready. They'll go far, and I think he's an excellent coach.
Donnie Lindsay's on their staff too.
Yeah, I saw Don. Don's a secondary coach. He wanted to coach those kids that did all that. Those interceptions, yeah. I saw Jack Henderson that came in with him, and Bob Reynolds, my group friend out there. I never get to see him, but they're great people. Oh, Dr. Hubbard, the chancellor that I thought was a train at one time.
Coach, let's get on in the second quarter of action.
Let's do anything to keep from watching each other. Full house backfield.
3rd and 9 on the 41.
Stedman Seeley with the football, going back to pass. Stedman was very exciting last year anytime he went in there. Beautiful pass, Bruce Bolton. That man almost tipped it, or did probably.
I think he got a hand on it.
Real fine catch for Bruce.
Gain of 22 and a first down to 19.
Different kind of pass to catch when someone has tipped it. Stedman fakes to the fullback, or gives to the fullback, and that's Jackson. And very fine running there.
9 yards by Billy Jackson from Phoenix City.
Allison is in there. Vince Cowell.
Joe Jones gets 2 and a first down.
They did a big series on Joe. Great play by Southern Cal then. Stedman was trying to run the option.
Coach, here's a play that Jackson up the middle that we thought at the time we had a touchdown.
Well, now we have a man that's right there, that's our man. If he had just bumped that guy, would have had a touchdown. They called it a touchdown. See the man put his hands up? He stuck the ball, and the ball was on the goal line. 2 of the officials called it a touchdown. But you have the ball that close and don't put it in twice. And I should have left that other group out there, I really think. I know, because this one didn't put it in. But now they're going to line up in an even man line, and here comes the man. See him running through that hole? And he just split our 2 blockers, and we just didn't make an inch. Now come back and run it the other way, the way we've been running. That's what we call a power play, and I guess Tony scored 25 touchdowns on it. And the tackle comes through this time and throws him for a loss, so we don't get anything, and it's a very poor call, and I called it. Well, we've been faking and giving in there, and then next time we get out, we're not going to run that play. Tony's worn that play out. Like Teddy Jackson one time, I'll never forget it. Charlie was in Mobile, and he said we'd failed to score about 3 or 4 times. They're running out behind the own goal line. E.J. Jr. fell off and made the play there. Teddy asked me real seriously, he said, when are we going to get us a new touchdown play? I don't know. But we're going to get a new one somewhere, somehow. Man in motion, as they do about every time, and here comes that sweep. It starts out as a sweep. Pull everybody. Marty made a great play coming the other side. Marty had a cut toe what a lot of people wouldn't have played with, including me. But he wanted to play badly. That Lyles kid we played some yesterday, I think played pretty well. Ken Donahue will know when I talk with him.
There's White getting 8. It's 4th and 5 on the 16.
Yeah, I tell you, when we worked, you won't believe this, but we worked a lot this week just on first down. I remember what Ken Donahue says, there's nothing, no point in working on anything but first down and short yardage, because they're going to make 7, 8, and
We drew a penalty on the play, so they
So they
having
do
a
a
ball.
penalty on the play, and they get a field goal out of it instead of us having the ball in their end of the field.
White gets 11 on the first play.
I don't recommend that. In fact, I could. Very alert play by their quarterback. He fumbled, snapped and sent, and then picked up a couple of yards. EJ Jr. made the tackle on him. So let's start that sweep and pull everyone. And then him running sees a way to turn up field. He turns up and runs over somebody. Then the ball carrier cuts any way he can. You'll see White hit from end to end. Beautiful pass out here. Bingo! Real fine hit then by Alan Crumley. A little late getting there, but they have excellent pass protection. He pulls it down and runs this time. We have a couple of missed tackles. John Morrow trying to hit him. John don't try to go but one way and that's to kill you. I guess he has a little more agility. Bear Krause made a fine play then. Bear's a senior. Well, a fine Florida player. Has plenty of time this time, but he's broken up back there. Murray Legg and Ricky Tucker.
It's 3rd and 8.
He fumbled, snap, and center again. Turns it into a great pass, perfect pass. They're so fast that you play off of them. You give them a lot of cushion, afraid they run by you. And it makes a lot of dead area then between the linebackers and the deep men. He's heading with that goal line.
So it's a fullback right here, Kane. Makes a lot of difference in their attack, too, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think he ran the ball 18, 19 times. Last year, I think the fullback ran about twice. Everybody left.
Mr. White again.
See how he
fumbled the ball.
We used to call that in the old days cutbacks. He cut back anywhere with the split the end. Go in the I formation now. Shift from Brown, we call the I. He threw out there and he had him out of bounds.
Southern Cal drew a 15-yard penalty for holding on the play.
Yeah, and I didn't know whether to let him go and kick the field goal. They made it 4th down and give him another shot. So we gave him another shot. They had to kick the field goal, but we had to kick it about 10 to 12 yards longer, and they make it anyway. So they're going for the field goal now.
40-yard attempt by Frank Jordan.
The up back on the right for them did an excellent job then because he really slowed up 2 men. That back Neal, who was coming from the outside and the inside man, he slowed them both up just enough they couldn't get there. They're kicking off to us. Lou Eichner had the football, running east and west. Great coverage by Southern Cal. They're big, tall, they can run. You know, they came on the field yesterday. I was standing down there when their lineman came out. It reminded me of Texas a long time ago. Now, there's a safety came, playing safety force there, I'm sure. Came up, he was the first one that missed him. They're supposed to be, oh, that's too late, too. But real great running, terrific running there by Major Ogilvy. Wasn't timed out well. Brothers on the option. Great play by their man. Real great play. He played through the blocker, knocked everything down.
They drew a 15-yard penalty for personal foul.
Both ends out, man in motion. Jeff Rutledge going back to pass. Great play by them. Keith Pugh, it meant for Keith Pugh. They had another interception, and Don Lenz is happy.
Coach, you know, the $1 Million Band once again yesterday put on quite a show for another.
I'm glad to hear that.
And I think that they've got quite a bit of attention from their TV coverage, and also we'll show you a little bit of the Dancing Girls and the great sound of Dr. Jim Ferguson and the $1 Million Band.
I tell you, Charlie, they work at it too. They put in much time, I expect, as the football team does. Of course, they don't had any limits on the numbers. See them?
They always do a fine job at wherever they perform. They've carried on a great tradition of Alabama's always had a great band, hadn't it? Back in the days, early days.
Well, you know, I've never been able to see the band. When I was playing, I was always
you
in
get
the
scouted
room.
before, what's that name?
I used to scout the bands when I'd go scouting for other places, the cheerleaders and things, but I don't get to see the bands now.
Coach, I know at halftime, were there any particular type adjustments or anything that you tried to make for this?
Well, we tried to point out to them. Of course, the offensive coaches went over what, what they thought we'd do. They hurt us badly, as you know, run those linebackers do, and they line up in what we call a 90 defense or split defense, split 6 of them in the first half. But defensively, the whole thing was a little more effort, a little more recklessness, and better tackling. And there's no big deal at the half. It wasn't a big deal at the half at Missouri. And I thought really at the half, and I think they did come back and went after them pretty good. But I thought at the half that we'd win the football game. I always think that, though. I'm an idiot. But I have that much confidence in them. And
we'll be back for the third quarter of action following this important message from one of our sponsors.
Of course, they get their choice at the half. They want to receive, and we have to take the win because I'd much prefer it been receiving and to have the win in the fourth quarter. A beautiful kick then. Timmy Clark, he kicked it out of the end zone. Timmy's a freshman. He's going to be a good one of these days. Fine kicker right now. He can run. Speed, I mean.
Ricky Gilliland, the first man to hit Charles
Fine
White.
gang tackling there. They're after him. They're after one another. But I tell you, that Southern Cal, they are big Southern. They have that pass protection. See there how open it is? They have the laid man out of the backfield. If you rush them, those fast people they have that may kill you. If you don't rush them, you can't cover them. And pull those delayed people out. Get them a nice little play. Bingo. Don't get them other headgear.
Marty Lyons stopped the White pass back to the quarterback.
Now, it takes a great back to do what that one did. He went right up the line of scrimmage, right behind his son, and then broke to the outside. And Alexander at Baton Rouge can do that, too, I'll tell you. See that guard's pulling around there looking for somebody to block. And I'll tell you something else. They're fumbling the football.
Ricky Tucker, I think, knocked it loose.
Well, that's great.
Murray Legg recovered it.
Murray recovered it. So we take over now. Full out backfield. Hand off here. Perfect blocking then. And great running. He just split right down the middle. Major Oberville. Major is a great high school player, and he was getting to be some kind of college player. He doesn't have the speed of White, neither does Tony. Here comes again. We finally hit the place right, blocked it properly, and hit it right, and he ran right by that linebacker, number 9, he blocked him there. I think that or 60, I guess it was. As Bolton very wisely doesn't try to block any of these people because he can get a penalty some way, and he sees that Major's going to score anyway. So Alabama 6 now, and Bear snaps it back. Kevin Jones hold it. Adam McElroy kicks it through for the extra point. Bear is from Anniston, Alabama. Kevin Jones from Louisville, Kentucky, and McElroy from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Timmy Clark kicking off again. He kicked it out of the ballpark. Timmy's a little small, but he has been the speed and snap in his leg. Let's see if they tied in around to this side now. Maybe some kind of blocker. See, he just entertained it. He just entertained E.J. then. Great running by White. And they finally hit him up over there, and 2 or 3 of them get him. I tell you, it's awfully hard for 2 teams to look good in the same game. But I think our team, they have more effort than I thought they had at the time of the game, really. And I think they're pulling men. I think they get more done than anyone I've seen since Joe Nealon's team way back years ago at Kentucky when we used the single wing back. You pull those guards around and turn them upfield, shoulder to shoulder. Back to pass again, and you see they do an excellent job of protection.
Fourth down, they're punting.
We're trying to rush this time. I thought the man on the right might have had a chance. If the fullback, we got 3 men back there, and the fullback picked out the man on this side, which was E.J. Jr. Went into the end zone. So we take it on the 20. 2 ends out. Steve Whitman running with the football off the veer. The veer is when the quarterback reads a defensive man and gives it to the fullback or not, and then takes it out and pitches off of either 3 or 4. We count inside out. We pitched in off of 3.
Major got 9 yards in the first down.
Fine running there again by Major Ogilvy. Major has a little brother that's a good football player too, Charlie.
Coming along?
Yeah. And the same play that he scored on a while ago, but they diagnosed it quickly.
3rd and 1. This
full house backfield this time. We need this one. Tony bounces out. That's what I was talking a minute ago about the UCLA back. He ran right up in the line and bounced to the outside. Takes great balance and speed to do that.
Got 11 yards in the first down at the 45.
Our protection on this type pass was excellent. And of course, we only throw this type pass. I mean, this type protection plus one other. Veer protection or pull protection. That was Keith Pugh it was meant for. Fine play by the defensive man. Big difference in we have men that can catch the football. Keith can catch it, so can Bolton and Neal, McElroy, Kraut, they can all catch the ball, but we don't have anyone that has him that makes the target that Ozzie Newsom made. If we go up and get them and take them away from people back there, they're just not big enough. Great play by their man then. Great play by their halfback. Actually had him covered all the way.
Southern Cal takes over on the 25.
A gentleman there, Ken.
It's your fullback, Ken.
Yeah.
Gets 8 yards. Because they were always coming up with second and short yardage.
All the time.
Kane gets 3 in the first down. Krause and Jim Bob Harris on the stop.
Jim Bob's a freshman from Athens, Georgia. Of course, Krause is a senior. Now comes that fullback again. He breaks through there, and Rick Wingo makes a play, I guess. Rick's from Elkhart, Indiana, and he's a senior. Rick's been injured last couple of games. He says he's all right. Yeah. They'll fall forward. They do a great job of body lean. All great backs have that body lean.
Which becomes the interception by Jim Bob Harris, a freshman.
And Jim Bob, see, he's running. Puts his hands up. Watch him. Runs about 6 yards with his hands up. That frightened me. Afraid he wasn't going to get there to slow him down, you know. But a great interception. Track man runs, you know, keeps working his arms into the last second. Don Hudson had the greatest timing of anyone I ever knew about when to reach for football. Excellent defensive play by one of their linemen. Full house backfield. Bingo. Boy, that was a terrific play. End of the third, Alabama 7, USC 10.
Coach, at this point in the ball game, going into the fourth quarter, Alabama's still very much in it.
Yeah, we're still very much in it, and I think we're going to win. We don't. But I'd like to say something else, Charlie, that I think we're very much in the hunt for something. If we improve, we got to be eliminated before I give up on national championship. We can improve and get some of our people back. If we just had David Hanna back, you know, we're not going to get him back now, though. But we're going to play more people. We can get a little better and better and better and get Stedman well, and where he can play a lot and rest Jeff, and they complement one another. And if our defense can hold up, we get tougher in the middle. I down people, with except for Marty Lyons. And McGriff's been doing pretty well, and I think Lyles did. I'm anxious to see how they graded.